All right. Hello, everybody. How you doing? It has been a long day for Total War content after Logic pulled a 4-hour stream. Now we're rolling right into this. It has been a big Saturday. Just checking on the volume. Probably going to hear a little repeat of myself in a second. All right. Yep. Hello. Okay. So, I suppose I can put down this thing. That's great. So the tournament for today, we're running a Khorne themed tournament, called it Khorne Afterparty, because it's in the middle of the night for most people in this community. Up here we have the bracket. I have taken myself out of the tournament to be replaced by Takoyaki, who wanted to play. Yeah. So I replaced myself with him so I can just start casting. We have some really good players here. The only person I don't think I've seen play ever is Chosen Rush, so it's always good to see a new face. And yes, so the rules for this tournament, the only thing that make it really different is we took the Khorne rules from the King of the Hill tournaments earlier, and you must take 10 melee infantry, no damage or healing spells, you can't just head your way out of every problem. Bound spells that break these rules are also illegal, so if you take Volkmar's Chariot, oops, I should, 1 second. There. Just making sure I had the screen blocker up for when we go back to the game that I'm currently watching, as I don't want to give away Deadly Bunny's build. Anyway, yeah, so bound spells are that deal damage are illegal, like Volkmar's Chariot has banishment. We just get rid of that. Because it would suck to bring a bunch of elite infantry and just have them get banishment or burning headed or pendulum down to death. So that sucks. Other than that, like, unique spells like Star of Avalorn that's not in any Wind of Magic is fine. It's fine. Barrywise fine, Wraithstorm, Hand of the Gods, things like that. And Footlords and Heroes count towards the infantry requirement. So we're going to be starting off right here with Grombrindle and Deadly Bunnies, just killing some time, having some fun till the semifinals. And I can take you into game blocker. And yes, I can rewind the stream now. Yay! I figured out how to let people rewind the stream. That's good. Hey Cyrus, sorry it's 2:30 a.m. I host this one in a more NA and Australia friendly time zone. The European tournament I hosted was Thursday, I believe, and we had unfortunately low participation and it couldn't happen. I think it was me, Takoyaki, and Bobman. So maybe I'll host some more in the European time zone. I think I've had to cancel 3 out of the 3. I think. Yeah, all 3 I've tried to host in the European time zone. I just can't. I can't get the players, man. Can't get the players. There's too many popular streamers at that time. You know, because Turin, HW, Logic, and Rubber Duck all kind of aim for that time zone, because this is the biggest time zone. Right. So just building the armies here, it looks like. I can see Deadly Bunnies, and it is interesting, to say the least. Deadly Bunnies is a very good Beastmen player. Chad Thorgrim, as you can tell by his name and his picture, does love his dwarves. And it looks like we'll be getting that special right away on Altdorf Outskirts. Altdorf Outskirts is normally a bad map for the Dowie, as their line of sight is obstructed by all the trees and hills and nonsense, but when you have to take 10 infantry and you know your opponent has to take 10 infantry, maybe it won't be so bad. Just get in the thick of things. Just a quick question from Bunnies. And we're good to go. Yep, so no healing spells, no damage spells, but damage abilities like Scabscrath from the White Kings are totally fine. Usually because they can't absolutely nuke elite infantry unless those elite infantry have literally 0 armor, but there's some counterplay there. We're mostly just trying to avoid Burning Head and Vindictive Glare spam, because without those two spells, the meta changes a lot, and you can actually see some really interesting builds, where otherwise the current meta is just take as much cheap infantry as you can, because you know they're going to die to AoE wind spells, and that's lame. We want to see some meat in this tournament. Was meeting some of my friends to go watch the European Championship. That would be the football championship, right? I know a lot of people have been pretty excited about that recently. Though as a dirty, filthy American, I know very little about it. Is it leading up to some sort of final soon? Is that why it's picking up so much, or what? What? If anybody in the chat cares, there's a speedrun currently going on my channel. It's in a little subcategory of Discord where I posted an army and a map, and if you take your own army and beat it as fast as possible, if you have the fastest time, you'll get 20 bucks, and I will cast the top 10 times. But Anticity's in there, Butcherbird's in there. A lot of people are just sitting and chatting about their builds, and they're having a really good time with it, so it's a lot of fun. Hey Cyrus, you have a good night, man. I hope you sleep well. And happy birthday to your little sister. We're loading into the game now. Altdorf Outskirts. I suppose I could take the blocker down and put the scorecard up. And I should change the names from whoever and some random to actually who's playing, huh? So we'll go with bunnies and Grombrindle. Whoops. Center. Perfect. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. No, it's just started group stages. Saji? Is that how I say that name? Still group stages. Good to know. Good to know. I am extremely ignorant of most sports. I was a swimmer in high school, so the only time I get any interesting action on the sports arena is when the Olympics come around. Strangely, not a ton of people want to watch half-naked men go back and forth in a pool all day. I don't know why. I think it's the best sport around. Most people just want to watch a bunch of grown men give each other concussions for some reason. They say it's exciting and actually fun. I find that extremely hurtful. So for Deadly Bunnies, we have a big mix of Graveguard and Graveguard with great weapons. I believe there are 7 of them in total. It looks like maybe just 6. There's a black coach on the side, the Tithe, and otherwise a zombie front line. And in the back, I did see a Necromancer with the Forbidden Rod. I wonder what spells he has. He has none, but he has Master of the Dead. AoE healing, because he can't take any healing spells, but he can just take the passive AoE healing. It's very slow. Cyrus, you have a good night, and I hope the stream is entertaining for you tomorrow. Here we have Vlad von Karstein with a zombie summon. It looks like Curse of Years. Yep, that's going to lower melee attack by a lot, and Van Hell's Dansk Macabre for him. So he's trying to buff his own troops and debuff the dwarves. And there's a White King with Scabscrath, 2 Fellbats, or the Vargas? 2 Fellbats. So yeah, just a big meat and potatoes charging front line. Sajci is how you pronounce it. I will do my best, but it's probably going to be embarrassingly bad for me. So on the force of Grombrindle, he has Grombrindle. Well, his name is Chad Thorgrim, but he also goes by Grombrindle in Discords. Grombrindle the White Dwarf, Ekron's Miners, Norgumling's Irebreakers, Hammers, Trollhammer Torpedoes, Slayers. I just have to check. Longbeards, more Irebreakers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, yep, he does have 10 infantry. Yep, okay. So Grombrindle is meeting the 10 infantry requirement. Can rats swim? Yes, rats swim very well. That's why there are so many of them in New York City sewers. Yes, so looking at this force, the Trollhammers won't have a lot of great targets, honestly. Maybe if they can get on the Black Coach, but Black Coaches can dodge a lot of things. Hey, Parkerella, good to see you, buddy. The Dwarves are just going to sit and try to outclass the vampire counts with their units, but I honestly think with 6 of these Graveguard, they might have a tough time with that. Ironbreakers are going to sit and wait forever, but they won't kill that many things. I don't know if 2 hammers or it was only 1 hammer. Yeah, Peak Gate Guard. I don't know if 2 hammers can clear all this infantry. Grombrindle himself is going to have to do a lot of work here, and the Troll Hammer Torpedoes are pretty much going to have to run out of ammo. Though 1 zombie summon on top of them will shut them down for at least a minute or 2. Vlad's already retreating, doesn't want to take any of that free Troll Hammer fire, as Bunnies gets a very nice surround going with his slow undead crawl. Players just saying good luck, have fun, just making sure there was no questions of rules. That would be a bad way to start the stream. And 1 Graveguard with great weapons forgotten over in the forest. That could be bad for Bunnies if this gets down to the wire. Yep, he's just setting up a nice round, letting the Troll Hammers and the blasting charges fire if they wish on his zombies. He doesn't really care about them. Honestly, if you waste the ammo on them, he's happier for it. As even Troll Hammer Torpedoes don't have the most ammunition in the world. Yeah, they're already down to 15. So only a couple more volleys on that. Where's the black coach hiding these days? I imagine he's keeping that in reserve. Yep, way over here, outside the range of those Troll Hammer Torpedoes. These Ironbreakers, I imagine their fire at will is off, but I did see 1 or 2 charges go awry. Trying to throw into those Graveguard, but maybe wanted to wait for them to get into the melee and nice and clustered, because even a unit that's standing at ease is decently spread out, so maybe not the best target for those blasting charges. Bunny's sending in a black coach just to take some fire, maybe distract the Northernlings Ironbreakers, but it takes some Troll Hammer Torpedo fire on the way out, and without Invocation of the Heck, that damage is going to be a lot more sticky. Bats are flying in to try to distract these Troll Hammer Torpedoes, but with a zombie summon right on top of it, I think that's a little overkill, because you're using 2 of your chaff at once, and neither of them's going to deal any damage. So maybe a little overzealous by Bunnies here, but not the end of the world. Now, Grombrindle has taken some damage already, and I wonder if that was just from the White King. It looks like they maybe got into a little bit of a duel, and Vlad von Karstein cast a debuff on him during it. These Longbeards chopping down these zombies easily enough. In the side, Graveguard are having a bit of trouble. Black Coach trying to get in and out, but just decides out may be a little better for him. Skeleton Warriors are fighting the Ironbreakers with Troll Hammer Torpedoes, but doing no damage. The Bats are trying to help and doing even less damage. Maybe they're even healing the Dwarves, who knows. Fell Bats and Zombies chilling on the side, just waiting their turn to get into the thick of things. Now, Vlad and the White King teaming up on Grombrindle could be very bad, but they're surrounded by the Peak 8 guards. They don't really want to be there, but as I say that, they get a massive chunk out of him. Summoning zombies on top of the Peak 8 guard will at least distract some of them from Vlad and the White King, but the White King's already down to half health. Oof, that is brutal. This Necromancer's going to have to get over here and get his Master of the Dead aura around these two, at least get what limited healing he has on them. Black Coach is a little idle for a moment. I think Bunnies is very focused on microing his Lord and Hero and getting them out of there, as some nice Ironbreaker charges are thrown on these Graveguard, but I think they did a lot of friendly fire to those hammers. Either that or Graveguard are outperforming what I would have expected. Here, Longbeards are losing the frontline fight against Greatbard with great weapons, but over here, maybe it's going a little better for them. I think they've gotten some support maybe from Grombrindle. Now, Vlad and the White King are back in. It looks like Vlad is charging in whenever he can get some sort of debuff down just to tip the scales in his favor against Grombrindle. Slapping his heart away there. Zombies and Graveguard piling up on the Northernlings Ironbreakers, doing nothing to them. And as we said at the start, these Ironbreakers aren't going anywhere, but they also aren't killing very many things. I'm a little worried about their stopping power, but we will see. Grombrindle's at 1/3 health, and of course, you know, even if healing spells were in this, the dwarves don't have any, so he's going to stay that health this entire time, which could be worrying. Black Coach running through some Longbeards, nice and easy, and that unit of Graveguard that went on vacation to Cancun is now arriving with a fresh tan and ready to battle. Charging in, it looks like to help their lord and also cut down some of these Longbeards that are surrounding Vlad. Now, where did the Peak 8 guard run off to? They used to be here supporting Gromby. Ah, here they are. Their flag was just a little off center. And they're cutting through these other Graveguard with great weapons quite effectively. Grombrindle and his Peak 8 homies are roaming away. It looks like they're going to just go pick up this side area and stay away from Vlad, who is still full health because he has, I believe he has his ring, which gives him damage resistance. But does he have the hunger? Ah, no, he just took his Blood Drinker Sword, and that's 8 HP per second, so that is twice as good as the hunger for, I think, about the same cost, so it's always a good tool. And if you're ever playing Vlad, by the way, just a quick tip, I would not take both the Hunger and his sword because he's going to probably healing cap in whatever game you're in. So it doesn't really make sense to healing cap him faster for more money. It's just wait it, take your time, save the 100 gold. Now this Necromancer here is just trying to heal up some of his compatriots with his aura and not get into trouble. Black Coach rolling dirty through here, down to about a third health as it just takes some massive volleys from the Ironbreakers who have taken their position outside of the box. It's safer on the outside, apparently. White King dueling Grombrindle, but without Vlad there to help him, it is certainly a bad time for him. I wonder if either the Master Beguilement is available or something of the like. Vlad's popping the Von Karstein ring when he hops into combat just to make sure any errant hits he takes will not be fatal. Necromancer's actually getting pounced on by the Dragonback Slayers, and that's going to be really bad for him. Necromancers are nefariously terrible in combat, but also they have a slowing aura. But Grombrindle decides he needs those Slayers elsewhere. This White King is extremely damaged and dead. Alright, rest in peace, White King. But for the trade, Vlad is getting some really good hits down onto Grombrindle. Now, the Black Coach is a little caught up here. It's going to have a hard time getting out. Its leadership's at minus 67, meaning it's going to get disintegrated. Yep, as I say that right there. Nice little Ekron Minor Blast coming in. I'm a little worried it did more damage to the Peak 8 Guard than the Grave Guard with great weapons, but maybe Grombrindle decided that they were so close to dead it did not matter. Over here, Ironbreaker's just sitting and slapping, waiting for the zombies to leave them alone. And the Necromancer in the back is cackling away. Now Vlad's still here, and the Dwarven forces are very beat up, but the Trollhammer torpedoes are very healthy and have a good amount of rockets left in them to fire in. But Vlad's a bit of a monster. He's a real beast. He does have plenty of healing for himself. His healing cap maybe is coming into sight, but that was some good damage from the Trollhammer torpedoes. He's got to avoid more like that. But he did put all of his spells on Vlad. So we'll have zombie summons, Dance Macabres through the whole game. Now the Necromancer's healing cap is actually within sight, and he is getting destroyed by the Dragonback Slayers, and Grombrindle's even coming to help. I wonder if his smoke bomb's up, or if he even needs it. Oh boy. Necromancer is toast. So Vlad summoned some zombies, but I think it's just Vlad and the summons left. Yep, these are crumbling away, and we are going to see if Vlad can kill literally everything left. I would doubt it. But you never know. He's the Sigvald of the undead. So he's getting flash bombed, bringing his melee defense down to a paltry 26, but Van Hel's Dance Macabre brings his melee attack up to 94, and he is slapping Grombrindle to death. That poor man. 100 health left on him, and a zombie summon coming in to help drag down some of the Slayers, but Vlad is trapped up in Dwarven bodies, and Grombrindle is saying, "Excuse me, please, I have an errand to run." So he's gone, and the Tithe is almost gone as well, so the only thing left on the field are summons and Vlad himself. It looks like Deadly Bunnies is going to concede and not slap away until the end of time. Well played by both of them. Vlad getting 1,800 value, White King getting 1,000, Necromancer just doing Necromancer stuff. None of the Grave Guard without great weapons paid for themselves, but the ones with great weapons did fine. Black Coach did okay as well, but really the story on the other end was just a bunch of dwarves with a lot of armor slapping to their heart's content. Trollhammer Torpedoes getting 2,000 value is pretty nice. Peak 8 Guard and Ironbreakers also paying for themselves quite well. So, good build from Gromby, or Chad Thorgrim, as he is in this lobby. I need to switch to the screen with the screen blocker. Boom. Disco Demon. Disco Demon. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I had the best nap today, dudes. Oh, I slept like 7 hours last night. Woke up feeling like crap. And then I got a 2-hour nap that I just kept hitting snooze on throughout the day, and that felt better than all the sleep I got before that. Which is probably going to keep me up too late tonight, and then I'll sleep poorly again, and then I'll need another nap tomorrow. But that's the exciting life we lead over here in Minnesota. Not a ton else going on. So, heading into game 2, I suppose I could be using... Well, I don't have the scorecard on this screen, so I'm just going to flip real fast to the non-blocker one and add a blocker to this screen. Media files. Logo now. Thumbnail thingy. There we go. Boop. All right, and then at the top, we can change the text. And that would be Gromby 1. Lovely. Grombrindle's up 1. Is this a run through of the format for Tuesday's challenge matchups? Tuesday's challenge matchups. I'm a little confused by that, Park Grill. This is a tournament. This is a Khorne themed tournament where you have to take a bunch of infantry and etc. For anybody new here, the quick rundown of it is you need 10 infantry at least, no healing or damage spells, and that's about it. So you kind of earn Khorne's favor by not mamby-pambying around with kiting for the most part, because it's hard for most kite factions to afford 10 infantry and have effective kite. Tuesday's challenge matchups, you may be referring to the Gladiator event I have on Tuesday. So if anybody is around Tuesday, probably midday, going to be having Ice Power Total War be our Gladiator. So he'll get, he will get, I believe it's 15,000 funds instead of the normal 12,400, and he'll submit a build, which he already gave it to me, but I'll post it the day of. And then anybody can come and challenge him. I'll host it on the stream here. We'll live stream it, and anyone in the chat can join the lobby, fight Ice Power. And how it works is you get 12,400 like you usually do, and he has more, but you know exactly what his army is. And if you shatter or kill any unit on his roster, he has to take it out of the roster. So, you know, if you shatter like 3 of his spearmen or whatever, the next battle, he's down those 3 spearmen, but his build has to stay the exact same. And he can spend the extra money on like chevrons or more spells or items for his lord or heroes. But it ends up being a lot of fun. We had one of them so far. Bob Man, friend of the channel, was our first gladiator, and he got down to 2 lion chariots, an archer, and his lord. And all of them were gold chevroned, and he had like 10,000 gold left on the table, but he couldn't spend it on anything. And it was a jolly good time. I think he beat 5 people before being dragged down, but it was really fun to just watch his forces get whittled and whittled and whittled. So if you join us, could be a good time. Could be you fighting Ice Power, dragging him into the dirt with your compatriots. I like that format a lot. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to be the gladiator, I have a gladiator chat in my Discord. Message me there, submit a build, and it's usually first come, first serve. I have a list of people who sent me builds and when they sent them, and when I want to host one, I hit that person up, say, hey, are you around? If they say no, I go down the list, ask the next person, and on and on. I love water. Hydrate, my friends. Hydrate, even though for most of you it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning. All right, and back in the game, we have Deadly Bunnies picking Empire, banning Greenskins and Bretonia, and Chad Thorgrim, aka Grombrindle, picking Skaven. Now, in my opinion, this is a very good matchup for Skaven. To counter Empire cannons, you should take Plague Claw catapults, because they're surprisingly good with their leadership debuff and their AoE damage. Taking place on Tuesday, it's right here. It's fine, Parkerella. It's fine. Yeah. So you take a Plague Claw catapult or 2, fire them at the cannons. When the cannon crew breaks, they'll most likely shatter, and the catapults usually hit the crew instead of the guns themselves, and they'll do really good damage. So, gotta love that. Maybe 2 Jezzails. This one's controversial, but I like 2 Jezzails to poke at Empire Cavalry. Couple Rat Ogres paired with Wolf Rats, and you always pair them as 1 Rat Ogre, 1 Wolf Rat, and run them together because the Wolf Rats poison and have armor piercing in a lot of models. but they need the rat ogres behind them to not break and run. Usually for a lord, I'll go Grey Seer on a bell just because they're tankier. Most Skaven characters besides the Grey Seer on the bell are extremely vulnerable to overcasted fireballs. In fact, if you have Throughout the Unclean, I think 3 overcasted fireballs will just outright kill him for 20-ish winds of magic, and it's really hard to dodge because fireball's home. Skrull will die, probably 2, maybe 3. So the Grey Seer on the bell just won't die to basic spells, and that's the main point. Other than that, Skaven saves, clan rats, maybe a poison wind or 2. So Bunnies and Thorgrim getting their build ready here. I imagine for the Khorne requirements of 10 infantry, etc., it's not going to be hard for Chad Thorgrim to fill them, as Skaven slaves could be 8 for roughly 1,400 gold, which is not bad at all. Though the Empire also has quite cheap chaff, spearmen coming in at 375. Sorry, I just need to tell. But you guys can't see behind the screen blocker, but I can see, and I'm just going to make sure Bunnies has the right number of infantry. All right. So sorry about that. Was just messaging Bunnies quick, making sure we don't have to stop the game in the game, as that would be bad. If I can figure out how technology works, left screen, go to that. It looks like our first game has finished up. Chosen Rush has defeated Captain Morgan in the first round, is now moving on to see Kark. Valkanos and Blood Penguin are fighting, and we'll see which of them goes to fight my stand-in, which will be Takayaki. Cool dude who wanted to play, but he woke up a little bit late, so I gave him my spot so that I could stream with you fine people. And that'll be good. That will be good. I don't know why I just went to the YouTube pane to check what they were saying on my other screen. That seems a little counterintuitive. Blocker. No. Scorecard. There we go. That's the right one. Let's see. So Deadly Bunnies is build now. 6. Yep, fine. Just letting him know that build's fine. Bunnies is also a contestant in a different thing I have going on called Faction Face Off, where if I can pull up this thing and stop being an idiot for once with technology, media files, Chaos versus Order 2. Is that it? Yeah. So we have another Faction Face Off coming. First one is quite popular on the channel. It's gathering a thematic alliance to fight against another thematic alliance. So the first one was the Forces of Chaos you see on the right versus an alliance of men, dwarves, and Bretonia. There, I was blanking on Bretonia for some reason. So we had Blood Penguin, I believe, RTK Felix, Biblington, Logic, Total War, and Grombrindle, who's in this game, playing as some of the dwarves and Bretonia and such. And they lost the 5v5, so then Chaos moved on because they had conquered the realms of men, and now standing against them are High Elves, Lizard Men, and Wood Elves, the second line of defense after the main shield falls. So that'll be pretty fun. I will cast that once I have all the replays in, and that'll be a good time. But Deadly Bunnies is our Kazrak One-Eye representative, and he is quite good. I think last time he took out 3 of the Order teams. Sounds about right. Okay, time to move this down, get it out of the way for you people so you can see what's going on. And we should be getting into games. Skaven versus Empire, Grombrindle versus Deadly Bunnies, Game 2. Grombrindle's up, so if the Skaven take this one in a matchup that I feel they're favored in, that will be Grombrindle taking the series, and Bunnies can finally go to bed, as I believe he said it was 1 or 2 in the morning where he is. which is quite late. All right, we've loaded up. So without the screen blocker that I believe I did move for you people, you can now see the bunny's army I was looking at. It is going to be 4 Empire Knights, 3 basic archers, not huntsmen, 2 flagellants, some swordsmen, Sigmar's sons, basic spearmen. So pretty standard push build for the Empire. Just get up in there and rout off the Skaven. On horse, we have Warrior Priest and Boris Todbringer. Boris Todbringer with a very underutilized ability, in my opinion, Crush the Weak. For low leadership factions, it is good to get -5 melee defense, -5 melee attack, because it only affects units with leadership under 50%, but Skaven pretty much start at low leadership. And paired with the White Cloak of Ulrich, that's -14 melee attack almost all the time. So there's that, and then we're going to have an Amber Wizard with Manticore Summoning. Manticore Summoning, always very good against Skaven. As a Skaven player, it is terrible to hear that shriek, because you know there's not too much you can do about it. For Grombrindle, we have Clan Rats with shields and Skaven Slaves across the front line. A very cheap, easy front line for the Skaven to field. Wolf Rats, Rat Ogres in the Pit Fighters of Helm's Deep, and the Thing. I love the Thing. I think it's underutilized. It's a Hell Pit Abomination at max rank, so its leadership is 100, which is super good. Its melee stats are really high and have poison just because of all the ranks it gets, but then underutilized is Fluid Injection. 22-second duration on a 60-second cooldown, so it's up almost a fourth of the time, plus 24 melee attack, plus a bunch of base damage, and it's rampaging, but who cares, because it's usually where it needs to be, and usually fighting when it needs to fight. There's not a lot of micro there. Throt the Unclean and a Plague Priest. Interesting to see Throt in this matchup. I don't like him very much, but I suppose we were talking about earlier, you don't take him for the fireballs. In this format, you can't take fireballs. So, I think that is going to be fine. For the Plague Priest, we have Vermintide and Pestilent Birth. All right, I will deal with something quick. Okay. Just making sure everybody knew. Hey, Logic. How's it going over there? I believe you are fighting Tactical Lich. Human check Discord. Oh, crap. We are game 3. What is the pick system? Top of bracket. Sorry. Okay. Answered Logic's question quick. And we will be fine. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what I was dealing with there was the Plague Furnace and the Seer's Bell both should be banned because they have a bound spell. The Seer's Bell having a bound Scorch, and this having a bound... wait a second, isn't a bound spell? Alright. Yeah, so... the Plague Priest... Yep, sorry. As you can see on the screen, Bounty's asked me a question. I got a little distracted there. Plague Priest has a bound Pestilent Breath, and the Seer on a Bell has a bound Scorch. Yep. So, we're going to play this out just because we're here. And decide what to do afterwards, because if Bunny wins, then it's not even a problem, and we don't have to deal with it. And if he doesn't win, we will see what the players want to do about it. But since we're here, might as well play. And Logic seems to be happy with the answer he receives. That's good. Here we have Boris Todbringer and a Warrior Priest charging in to fight Throt the Unclean, and they can do some good work on him. Throt is surprisingly squishy, considering he's on a giant monster. Rat Ogre's pushing in on the far side on the Empire Infantry, and the Empire Infantry are just getting immediately swarmed with what's going on, and these archers don't appear to be firing. Smear's Shields and Sigmar's Sons doing okay at holding the front line, and Throt is in real trouble. There's even a Manticore going after him. He's at 1/4 HP, but the Empire Hero Squad has moved back, and the Amber Wizard is staying with them, as is good, so we can keep casting some Manticores. I believe we can get another one off before this game ends. Flagellant's going on some sort of flank. I don't know where they're going. There's no range units to compromise for this game, but maybe they're just looking for some Knight Runners stealthed in the back or something. Empire Knights, we're trying to save these archers from the Rat Ogres, but once they realize that was a lost cause, they're just going to try to run through. So what the Empire player has to do to try to bring this back is to really get good cycle charging in, but it's looking like a tough start for him. Yeah, because Empire Knights are more road blockers than real killers, and them trying to come through the front line like this, they're just not going to get a lot of damage done. Maybe Knights of the Blazing Sun would get it done. Maybe, but still not super great. I think they need to pull behind, but this is just going to be a really tough matchup for Bunnies. He's trying his best and microing well in a bad situation, but without cannons or huntsmen to take down this Hell Pit Abomination, that's probably going to carry the late game pretty hard. And Wolf Rats and Skaven Slaves are just running the back line, as the Empire Knights are needed. They're needed both to sweep the back line and to help the front, and I think the Empire is just a little low on pure killing power. That being said, Boris Todbringer and the Warrior Priest decide now is the time to commit to combat, and they are getting some serious work done on the thing. Surrounding it with Knights, its leadership is already at half. It's taking some shots from the back, but Skaven Slaves are getting on to archers. It's the battle of worthless chaff. Empire Knights are trying to fight these Wolf Rats, but Wolf Rats are surprisingly good at taking down armored targets because they do magic damage, and the other variant does armor piercing, so both are quite good at what they seek to do. Now the Warrior Priest is naturally broken, and the Empire Knights are terror routing off. Boris is left slightly alone. Throt's at half health, but I think he's going to be able to get away just fine. He's quite a fast lad, and with the Plague Priest and Thing here to slap around, I think he'll be quite okay. Some Spearmen in the back need to come forward and help the front line a little bit. The Empire soldiers are falling apart all over the board, and I think the Skaven are coming out to an early lead in this one. The balance of power says it's pretty even, but to the naked eye, it does look a little tough for the Sons of Sigmar. Here we have the Warrior Priest trying to rally, but Throt immediately getting on top of him and doing a ton of work. A nice Soulfire bombardment coming in from the Warrior Priest does some damage to the Wolf Rats, but he is going to go down. The Amber Wizard, I believe, is just trying to wait. Oh, it did get his second Manticore summon off, so that's good. He is a worthless unit now, as the only spells he took were the double Manticore summons, which have both been spent. I believe that is Boris Todbringer down there breaking, and with him breaking, that's going to be very tough for the Empire to salvage. Empire Knights charging in, routing off some Rat Ogres, and the Skaven front line is actually doing quite well, beating the human front line in most places. Okay. So, I had to answer a quick message there. Boris Todbringer has rallied and charged back in, and the thing is extremely low on health. We'll see if it gets its Too Horrible to Die proc and get a ton of healing in here, but if it doesn't, it could be in real trouble. Now, Throt is trying to zone off Boris Todbringer, keep him away from the thing, as he's one doing most of the heavy lifting in this game. Empire Knights trying to rally, but extremely wounded, and I think the Empire is in huge trouble as the thing just slams into Boris Todbringer, does about 1/5 of his health in one attack, and Throt is still fighting him. Now, Throt running away like the kind of cowardly rat he is. His leadership is shockingly low for a character on a large monster, but that is how he is balanced. The center pocket seems to be going well for the Empire, but both of the sides are collapsing, and the backfield has belonged to the Skaven. And the Skaven are just running the board, it seems. Amber Wizard, without spells, just trying to be a little leadership boon for Boris Todbringer, but that is it. Alright, answering a quick question in the Discord chat. As the Empire have army losses kick in besides Flagellants and Sigmar's Sons. And that is it. I don't believe any RNG, even RNGesus, can save the Empire from their fate here, as they will get ground down by the Plague Priest, and Sigmar's Sons will also die. So I love the thing. It's a great unit. I don't think it got its Too Horrible to Die proc yet. I think it's just naturally regenning up there. But let's see, it got 2,300 value, so yeah, it paid for itself. And Throt, let's see how he did. 2,300 as well. So him and the thing doing quite well against all these Empire heroes and lords on horseback. Plague Priest only getting 850. So, once the game's over, we'll see if Deadly Bunnies wants to concede or if he wants to replay it, as technically, the Plague Furnace should not have been allowed with the Breath spell, but I thought it would just be easier to play out the game than to get into a debate here. So we'll see. And Grombrindle's usually a super nice guy, so I doubt he will have too much of an issue with it. We will see. And as the last Empire units die, we can look in the post-game. Boris doing actually pretty well. Boris Todbringer getting 1,300 value, doing some work on the Thing and Throt. Warrior Priest doing fine. Manticore Summoner summoning 2 Manticores that we can't look at their value, but I imagine they did quite well. Frontline kind of paying for itself, but that's more than the Empire needed out of them this game. Archer's not doing enough. Empire Knights road blocking, but nothing to roadblock for. And I just got to deal with this little rules thing quick. Yep. So we're just going to let Deadly Bunnies decide what he wants to do about this game. If he wants to replay it, that's totally fine. But we'll see. I think that game was one-sided enough that we could call it. I think even if he had put the Plague Priest in the corner, I think Skaven maybe could have run that out even without it. But we'll see. We'll see what Bunnies wants to do. Because it was, you know, it was a rule break, and that's fair. He is correct that it's a problem. And we will see. I'm going to look at the bracket and see how things are going. Let's go left screen. You get to see the infinite void for a second. And we have the bracket. So that is not actually me. That is an imposter, a fake, a fraud. I let Takayaki take my spot because he woke up a little late to check in. So he's fighting Blood Penguin, who managed to defeat Valkanos in round 1, it looks like. So I'll play the Blood Penguin, certainly a very active player on Anticity Ladder. I think I've played him twice. I think he won one, I won one. Either that or he won both. Here we have Grombrindle, Deadly Bunnies that we saw, Chosen Russian Kark fighting, and Tactical Lich and Logic Total War on the bottom. I know Tactical Lich is an active YouTuber. I have never played him. I wonder how good he is. Don't know. You were correct. Whoops, whoops, whoops. You're all on the left screen still. All right. Looks like Deadly Bunnies will concede just so he can go to bed, and I am happy he played. He has been an active member in my growing community for a little bit here. So, we will see. Okay, so let's see if anybody is playing that I can join. Blood Penguin, yep. Yep. How's everybody doing today? Hope you all are having a good night / early morning / midday, depending on where in the world you are, I suppose. Refresh. Alias TBK House. Someone's lobby's just named House. So we're waiting on a game to see if there's a lobby we can step into. That'll be lovely. Till then, let's play a quick battle. Kill some time. Wait for some people. Oh, stretch. Oh. I don't know how your parts of the world are doing, but where I live, we are in desperate need of rain. We're in a severe drought, and for Minnesota, that's weird. My entire front lawn is brown or tan. That's lovely. And I hate it. I hate it. I love rainy afternoons. Taking a nap. Thunderstorms are also quite tight. But we get none of those. We just get sunshine here. Uh-oh. Abandon the quick battle. We have something to do. Takoyaki versus Penguin. There are some very creative names there. And we will get into this. On my way. So we're going to watch Takoyaki versus Blood Penguin. And here we are. They are going to be on Altdorf outskirts also, which is good. And I can change the scoreboard to be more appropriate. We'll go Penguin in one and Taco in the other. Taco. Actually, I suppose I can probably fit his whole name. Takoyaki. Excellent. Lovely. I need a screen blocker, don't I? Ciao. Ciao. Grumbrindle advancing. Looks like Kark and Chosen Rush are still fighting. Tactical Lich and Logic are still fighting as well. It'd be very interesting to see who comes out ahead of them. Just gonna send a quick message to a buddy. And the bunnies we can play off here around. Alright. Things appear to be going well in my various chats that demanded my attention. It's 2 a.m. here, going to catch the semifinals, and if you post them on this channel, I will post them on this channel, Parkrilla. And you have a great night, sir. I hope you sleep well. I hope you sleep well. Is it the public chat? Ugh, I hate that bug. I don't know if you guys get it, but there's a bug sometimes where it'll just always have this stupid yellow icon thing constantly telling you there's something you need to look at. Skaven Flat has it. Oh, you're fine, Grumbrindle. You're fine. I mean, I would hope you weren't listening to the stream while I was casting it, but I was just like, well, it's a rule break technically, but we'll play the game out and see what happens, and then ask Bunnies what he wants to do afterwards. But I didn't want to have the conversation in the game. I just kind of wanted to get into it, fight it out, and see what happened. Because then, you know, as I mentioned before, if Bunnies ended up beating you, then the rule break wasn't a problem. But you both played well, and thank you again. If Deadly Bunnies watches this back, thank you again for being a good sport about that. That was very nice of you. So Blood Penguin and Takoyaki fighting. Since he said I'll go Chaos with no bans, I'm guessing he was the counter pick, and Takoyaki has picked Dwarves first. And both players are ready up. We're loading into Altdorf Outskirts, and you get to see Dwarves again on Altdorf Outskirts. You love to see it. The proud Dowie defending the human capital, I guess, for some reason. I don't know. I just work here. I just work here. Okay. Loading into the game. Can take the screen blocker down. Scorecard. Boom. You love to see it. Penguin versus Takoyaki, game 1. And loading in. Nice fast load time, actually, from both the players. That's good to see. I don't know where Takoyaki's from, but guessing by the name and when he said he was waking up, he appears to be either an Central Asian or Australian player. Good to see a variety of folks coming in. Alright, so what do we have for the Dwarven build? Dwarven build, we have Nordling's Ironbreakers, Ironbreakers, Ironbreakers. Triple of them. Dwarf Warriors, 4 of them. Some regular miners, don't see those very often. And 2 with blasting charges. Some Rangers with great weapons. Gyro Bomber, and a Belagar Iron Hammer. On the infantry front, we have 3, 4, 3. Yep, that's 10. overlay. William Crotus, I hope that at the modern time, the overlay is gone, but we will see. On the Chaos side, we have Chaos Warriors with great weapons, Chaos Marauders with great weapons, Chaos Warriors with great weapons, just interchanging them. I believe those are Chosen. Chosen with great weapons. Those will be really good against the Iron Breakers if they can get on top of them. One Chaos Chariot? Do we have two Chaos Chariot? I see two Chaos Chariot. Do we have three? Probably not. Nope, don't see it. So only two. Is that Prince Siggy? That is a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal with Transmutation of Lead and Plague of Rust, so less armor and less melee attack for the dwarves. That will be quite good. Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, also quite good against dwarves. They will need to get right on top of these double gyro bombers and take them out. I'm curious how the dwarves afforded so much stuff. This looks expensive. I mean, both the gyro bombers are quite expensive. Rangers with great weapons aren't cheap. Iron Breakers aren't cheap. But I suppose Belagar is the cheapest lord you can go at only 1,000 gold, and Dwarf Warriors aren't much. So a lot of this game is going to be on the back of the Gyro Bombers and the Iron Breakers, in my opinion. Chaos lining up to charge as quickly as they can. Oh, I missed that. There's double Chosen with great weapons. You love to see it. You love to see it, chat. And yep, Chaos fulfills the troop requirement easily enough. Good for them. Okay. Answering a quick question. Checking back in on the challenge quick while the players set up. It looks like Kark has defeated Chosen Rush, and Tactical Lich has defeated his opponent. So I will send a quick message. Kark, Chosen Rush, wait for me, please. So our first semifinal will be ready. We will quick watch this game and then head over there as we have responsibilities to perform. Up armies and I will arrive. Okay, telling those players to wait for me so they don't start the semifinals without us. Marauders and Chaos Warriors advancing. Blood Penguin, I forgot who was who for a moment. Blood Penguin keeping his Chosen behind his front lines so that hopefully when the blasting charges come in, they will be nice and safe. Chariots are playing surprisingly defensive, I think, with... I suppose the Rangers with great weapons are dangerous. I was going to say without Thunderers or Cannons, there's no real reason for them to play this safe. Grombrundle the chat, letting the dwarves know he is fully behind them. That's good to see. You love to see it. Some support for the Penguin of Blood. On the other side, Gyro Bombers are attacking. The dwarves are fine, just sitting and letting this happen. Doing quite well. Marauder Hunters with throwing axes. Marauder Horsemen, my apologies. Should get right under that, get direct fire up, and if they can break its leadership, they can just walk it easily off the map. Gyro Bombers have surprisingly low leadership, only at about 60. That one is 69. Nice. Because it has some sort of buff going on, as you can see. Probably it's good vigor and being a bit of a ponce up there. This Gyro Bomber taking a lot of damage considering, and its leadership is down to half. And as long as it's running, it is not shooting, which is good for Chaos. Chaos getting in here with their chariots. They can now spot the Rangers, but none of them are facing the correct way just yet. So it looks like they're going to try to get some free value on the back, ramming into Dwarf Warriors. Unfortunately, not doing a lot of damage. Chariots will be chariots, I guess. Hey, Logic, you have a good night. Sleep well. You played well versus Tactical Lich. Certainly a good player. Just confirming something with another player while the armies advance. And finally, the Chaos Warriors are going to reach the Dowie front line. Dwarf Warriors are going to get cleaved very quickly by those great weapons. Over here, Chaos Warriors also taking a lot of fire from blasting charges and Rangers. These Chaos Marauders will have to be pulled in quite quickly, but shows on the front line. I'm very curious how they'll do versus Nordling's Ironbreakers. That is certainly an unstoppable object hitting an immovable force. The Chaos Sorcerer of Lore of Metal is lowering everyone's melee attack and base weapon damage by quite a lot over here. Not helping the Chosen at all with the Nordling's Ironbreakers, but I don't think they care too much. This Gyro Bomber is in real trouble, taking a ton of damage from the Horsemen and being forced back. And as long as the Horsemen protect their front line, those Bombers can't get those sweet paths just down down the lines where you just want to line them up and run and keep clicking that bomb button as fast as you can. But as long as they're back here, those bombs can't be used and the Chosen will be uncontested. Here the Nordling's Ironbreakers are getting torn apart by the Chosen now, especially with an overcasted Plague of Rust on them. That is quite unfortunate for them. These double great weapons are just busting through the Dowie lines, and it looks like the dwarves are in some real trouble. Takoyaki off to an early disadvantage. The Rangers are getting upset by these Chaos Chariots that aren't doing very much damage, but they are doing a lot of disruption. And the Gyro Bombers in the back just shooting at Chaos Chariots, getting some good damage. I believe there should have been 2 Chariots, and I have only seen 1, so I think the other one maybe did. Which is unfortunate for Chaos, but they seem to be doing fine without them. So their front line is just straight out classing the other one. Nordling's Ironbreakers, realizing they're taking too much damage, pulling back until that Plague of Rust wears off, and maybe trying to turn around and throw their blasting charges. But the Chosen are not going to let them get away. They are running them down. And it looks like a good full court press from the Chaos side will make this quite a tough game for the Dowie. I believe Chaos will pull this out, but we will see. Maybe Takoyaki has some magic in the back pocket, and maybe these Gyro Bombers can run in and get a bunch of bombs down. Now, it's going to look like it's bombing the Chaos Warriors here. Maybe you want to focus on those clustered Chosen. Those are definitely the real meal ticket you want to get, but anything is better than nothing, and that Gyro Bomber is quite wounded, so maybe he's just trying to drop whatever he can where he can. Chaos Orso Lord of Metal, standing in the middle of the carnage, enjoying his life. Having a little break. He worked hard for this. And I believe he cast... he did. He cast another Plague of Rust upgraded on the Nordling's Ironbreaker. Quite tragic for them. All their beautiful armor whittled away to nothing. Though that being said, even with minus 60, they still have 65 armor, so they're still more armored than most Skaven units can hope to be. Some Chaos Marauders with the great weapons pushing into the back. Not going to do too much damage, just trying to disrupt these Rangers a little bit, and that Gyro Bomber was going for a ballsy charge for a second there, but thought better of it and pulled back. And is that Chaos March? Where are the other Chosen? Yeah, there's a full health unit of Chosen with great weapons here. There's a half health unit here. Ooh, those are some elite infantry that the dwarves are going to have to deal with. And while Belagar is trying to help out, casting Mighty Oathstone, giving his Ironbreakers even more melee defense, I don't think it's going to be enough to stop those Chosen. The balance of power is now truly reflecting what's going on, as Chaos has even took the backfield with their Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, and they're chasing off all these fine Dowie. Scrolling around, what do they got? I mean, the one thing that they have an advantage is Belagar over the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal, because he sucks in melee combat, and Belagar is pretty okay. But that being said, Chosen and Chaos Warriors with halberds are making short work of poor old Belagar. He is not Grombrindle. He cannot put this game on his back. So I believe this is going to be a grind to the death for the Dowie, as this Gyro Bomber desperately tries to get some bombs down. And it does, to be fair. It gets some good bombs down. Chaos Marauders, Chaos Warriors all getting eaten alive. And this Chosen with great weapons certainly got bombed to death. But where was that other one? That full health unit one? Yep, still full health. So if there are no bombs left in either of the Gyrocopters, one of which may have run off the map, then those Chosen are going to be quite hard to kill. And that is going to be a concede from Takoyaki, I believe. Unless Blood Penguin's just insane. Good value on the Chaos Marauders with great weapons. Good value on the Chaos Warriors as well. Chosen did fine. That one's quite wounded. That one's full health, so it didn't get much value, but it also had tons of love left to give. And the dwarves really struggled. Their Gyro Bombers did quite well. Everything else struggled a little bit. One of those Rangers getting its value back, but the Ironbreakers just could not hold against so much great weapons. GG. I have a semi-final ready. Good luck with remaining games. Heart. All right. So we have to go find our semi-final. It is between, for the stream? No. No. Where are you? Where's Kark and Chosen? Kark. Add me on Steam. It appears I don't have them on Steam. Friend code. Just keep playing good night. Copy. Put it in Discord. Boom. My friend code is now in my Discord if you just want to snipe me for Steam reasons and troll me. Boom, it's in there. Another reason to join the Discord, folks, so you can troll me Get in my head. Take me down a peg. All right, Kark has invited me. Where are my friends? Where are my friends? Pending invites. Accept. All right, let's see if I can find Kark's game now. Hopefully we can. Spectator. Oh. Nope. Slot. Open. So we are currently trying to find our first semifinal game between Kark and Chosen Rush. Wait, no. Tactical Lich. Tactical Lich is also a quite active YouTuber. I see him posting things all the time. So another good person to investigate. If you need more Total War Warhammer content, besides me, Logic, Productive War, Turin, HW, I believe BBB Cool Umbrella is also getting into the scene, which is nice. He's a cool guy. He's a real cool guy. I will see if I can join Kark's game. Kark versus Tactical Lich. Ah, there it is. Spectate. 1, 2, 3. All right, and we've arrived. I will put up the bracket real quick. So here we are. Grombrindle is awaiting the winner between Takoyaki and Blood Penguin, the games we just saw, and Blood Penguin was up 1-0. Saying hello to Kark. And on the bottom, we have Kark and Tactical Lich, two very good players. I believe Kark is an Eastern player as well. I do not remember if he is Australian or possibly Chinese. But we will see. Good to see him. Good to see faces in the community. And... all right. What? Just kidding. Blocker has a scorecard. And I need to put up the army blocker thing. Pachow. Pachow. And we will change this again, even though we just got Penguin in there. Poor guy. Did not get to stay on the scorecard for very long. And we will replace Takoyaki with Tactical Lich. 0. 0. Perfect. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Give me a minute. Don't have Kark on Steam Friends. Okay, Lich. So it looks like Tactical's just trying to find Kark as well. It's hard when Total War thinks it knows best for you and will, you know, only let you see games in your region when you're trying to match across the world. But that's the world we live in. Maybe Game 3 will have something better for us. Maybe, maybe. If you're out there, late night, early morning, remember to stay hydrated. Get some water. Or tea. Tea is also quite good. I had a Diet Coke before the stream because I woke up from a nap and I was very tired. And I'm regretting that now because my throat is constantly dry from the caffeine. But it's worth it. All right. Kark and Tactical Lich are coming. I believe Lich is just trying to find Kark on a friends list. And I actually don't know... I don't know either of these players very well. I have no idea what they're going to be bringing to the table. Because I know Grombrindle. He's been in a few of my tournaments. Big Dowie player, but really play anything. And he'll play it quite well. But I have no idea what these two are going to bring. I know Kark is quite famous in his own way. Probably should check out some of his content, figure out what he does, if I'm ever going to face him. But we will see. I need to pick a map. Map is... let's go with Toothgrass. I love Toothgrass Hill. It's one of those maps that is... it's balanced, but not just a flat, open field. You know, there's forests on one side, on the other side there's this big hill, and people can play for it. I think that's nice. I think that is very nice. Now, if you haven't been here since the start of the stream, Just a heads up, each player must take, in the Khorne rule set, each player must take 10 infantry. Infantry do not count as ranged units with over 5 ammunition, so like miners with blasting charges is an infantry, because most of the, I mean, if we're all being honest with ourselves, most of the game they're going to be in melee combat, whereas archers will not spend most of their game in melee combat, so they're not really an infantry unit. So you need 10 of them, no damage spells, and no healing spells. So we hope to see some buff spells, hope to see some debuff spells, some elite infantry, and like in that last game, we briefly saw Blood Penguin took Chosen with great weapons, which you don't usually get to see, and gave them some nice debuffs to just cut through the Dowie Lions, and that's the type of stuff we are here to see. No more Vindictive Glare kiting, please, for the love of God. So, on to our first semi-final, Kark versus Tetralich. Kark starting out with Greenskins banning Vampire Coast and Vampire Counts. Does not want to deal with the undead, even though their healing has been nerfed. Now with the Greenskins, I imagine we'll see an Orc Shaman, because he has the better buff spells with Fists of Gork, giving magic damage and some melee attack, melee defense. And here we go, giving 40 melee attack. Because the Goblin Shaman without Vindictive Glare kind of sucks. And I'm trying to think what the Lore of Death has. I mean, Lore of Death has some leadership debuffs that maybe, since Tactical Lich has counterpicked with Beastmen, maybe the leadership debuff spells or the aspect of the Dread Knight terror-causing spell will be beneficial here. Maybe. But I would still bet on the Orc Shaman. I think those buffs are just too much to give up. So, we need 10 infantry from the Greenskins. Now, it kind of sucks to go 5 goblins, 5 orc boys. I mean, that's just a lot of chaff, and your carrying power would have to come from a small amount of units. So that would be tricky. I'm guessing we're going to see some Savage Orc Biggins. Maybe some Orc Biggins to have the armor. Black Orcs would be a little crazy, honestly. I don't think there's any need for that. And on the Beastmen side, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Bestigors could be good at cutting through some of the front line, but I feel like they just don't trade well enough against Biggins or Savage Orc Biggins. I feel like they just die too quickly. It's maybe not worth it there. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. 3, 3, 3. Yep. Okay. So far, I can see, as a spectator, I can see the Greenskin army, and I can make sure that that one is legal. Tactical Lich, we'll just have to cross our fingers and pray on the Beastman's side. Do Gores have crappy armor piercing? I don't know about a Gore Rush. I'm thinking that we'll need some Ungor Spearman, Ungor Axe and Shield. Maybe with Morgar, the Shadowgave on foot, he counts as one of your infantry. Maybe with a caster on foot, you just call that and then throw a Mino Rush at this. Maybe some dogs. Dogs do count. That's right. Dogs count as melee units. So that'll be a boon to the Beastmen, but I don't know. I've heard this matchup's actually pretty even. Because you can actually catch, I believe you can catch the Greenskin Skirmishers with Beastmen. Centaurs are real fast. And they're shielded. It's funny that the Beastmen have a DLC coming out that everyone's been waiting for like 20 years. And now they're getting more play than they've ever seen before it comes out. And they're winning a decent amount. I think they may not be as weak as people think. Still weak, don't get me wrong. They're one of the worst factions, but they're not unplayable. They have a couple good matchups. Skaven's a good matchup. I believe Tomb Kings is a decent matchup for them. High Elves is fine. And Deadly Bunnies and Butcherbird and that little faction face-off I'm running on my channel, they both are doing quite well in a lot of their matchups, so maybe the Beastmen are fine. All right, players are ready. I can see the Greenskin build. It looks interesting. It's standard with a pinch of spice. We'll take down the army blocker for you fine folks, so you can also see once we get into the game. Whoops. That's not the right thing. That's the right thing. All right, army blocker's out of the way, and we're loading on to Toothgrass Hill. So for the greenskins, as I could see in the lobby, I saw they had a mix of Savage Orc Biggins and Orc Biggins. I believe 2 or 3 of each. It's looking like 2 of each. Some goblins, just to fill out the roster a little bit. 4 goblins, 3 Savage Orc Biggins, 2 Orc Biggins. Grom the Paunch on his chariot, Orc Shaman on foot, and a Goblin Big Boss on a wolf. So yep, there are 10 infantry there because the Orc Shaman on foot counts. Up in front, we have 4 skirmishers, 2 spider riders, 2 wolf riders, and then 2 regular spider riders that have now disappeared from my view, but trust me, they were there. They're there in the backfield. They're just going to be sweeper units. No archers for the greenskins. They're just going to have to push up and skirmish. Skirmish and scrap. For the beastman side, I have no idea what I'm walking into. Let's check it out. 4 Ungor herds, 2 Chaos Warhounds. There's 6 of the infantry, 3 Bestigors. Very interesting, very interesting. I wonder how they'll perform against Savage Orc Biggins specifically. A Beast Lord on foot, a Bray Shaman of Wild with a Cygor summon, and Viletide? No, it can't be. Mantle of Gorok. More melee attack, less armor. Oof, that's going to be risky against the Savage Orc Biggins. There's a Gorble to start slapping some people, 2 Ungor Raiders, 3 Centaurs. So a good mobile force should be able to catch those skirmishers. Players are saying good luck, have fun, and ready, which is good to see from them. Let's see, Spider Riders and Wolf Riders have about 80 or 90 speed, 95, 84. No, Beastmen should be able to catch them just fine. They're not going to aggressively vanguard just in case they get caught in these woods back here and immediately routed off the map. That would be terrible. So for the Beastmen, they want to take this hill and just hold it. Since they have archers and the greenskins don't, they don't really have that much to fear. Oh, I was mistaken. There's 1 Da Rusty Arrows, but they'll still lose to 2 Ungor Raiders in combat, in my opinion. So the Beastmen want to take the hill and hold it. Greenskins are going to try to rush up the hill, but that might be hard for them. Maybe they're going to try to abuse their skirmish cav, but I don't think there's that many great targets for the skirmish cav. There's no Minotaurs or Chaos Spawn to slowly poke down, just a bunch of shielded chaff infantry or Bestigors with their 95 armor will not be great targets. I forgot to check what the Orc Shaman has, and he has the exact 2 spells I mentioned. Fists of Gork to give magic damage, melee attack and melee defense, and then here we go just for a big old boost of melee attack. Beastmen took the hill and now intend on holding it. Ungor archers moving up, trying to zone out some of the skirmish cav, I imagine, but maybe trying to get some free shots on these Savage Orc Biggins that are just going to absolutely tear apart the Ungor herd. Goblins collapsing, but we don't care about that. We care about this. And on the charge, already doing a good amount of damage, and those Ungor herds are not long for this world. Bestigors are going to need to get in there, and the archers are pulling back instead of shooting. Maybe going to be a little tricky for Tactical Lich here, but they were getting quite close to that front line. Maybe doesn't want them to be compromised. Goblins getting rammed into by Gorbel very quickly decide that they don't want to be there anymore, and Centaurs in the background are just staying mobile, staying active, trying to keep these skirmish cav where they belong on the other side of the battle away from the archers. Ungor herd taking a lot of damage, but all the good units in this are not. Savage Orc Biggins finally meeting up some Bestigors, and currently going badly for the Bestigors, but we will see. Grom the Paunch is here giving some leadership and attack buffs, so maybe that's not a fair comparison. Over here is a more fair comparison, and it's an even trade, which is bad for the Bestigors. Honestly, I guess they're getting a little bit of degradations here, but there's going to be a Waaagh coming in soon, so after that buff wears off, there's another one, and here is a Waaagh. The Bestigors are having a terrible time fighting against these Savage Orc Biggins, certainly a very cost-effective infantry. The only full health unit of Bestigors left is running to try and help their buddies against the Orc Biggins. Centaurs charging into a bad fight, but they had to protect the Ungor Raiders, so that is a nice play in the end. A rear charge on the Savage Orc Biggins by Chaos Warhounds and Centaurs will be very effective, as they do have 0 armor and are getting eaten alive. Chaos Warhounds picking off some goblins with low health, but oh, over here the Beast Lord is in real trouble. Surrounded by Orc Biggins and now getting attacked in the back by a Goblin Big Boss. Dealing as good as he's getting, but he is getting a lot. Ungor Raiders trying to find a good place to shoot, but they are being forced to run, and now the Greenskins are just pushing in on too many sides. There's nowhere for the Beastmen to go, because the only way they can run is towards the edge of the map, which is exactly where they don't want to be. It looks like the Beast Lord has broken, and Gorbel is soon to follow him. A pity there. These Chaos Warhounds are still trying to get on top of these Rusty R's, but Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers will block them for a moment. Brave Shaman of Wild, I'm not sure if I saw a Cygor summon. Maybe could have been good, but I don't know if it would have turned this around. It just seems that the Bestigor herd was too outmatched by the Savage Orc Biggins, because a lot of their cost goes into armor piercing, which they didn't need at all in that fight. A shame. They really should. I mean, best scores would be fine if they just swung faster, but they're great axe infantry, so they swing really slowly, which is terrible against the dual-wielding, mad-hacking Savage Orc Biggins. Bray Shaman Wild rallied, but I think army loss is going to kick in at this point, and it is too little too late for the Beastmen. So good game by both players. A decisive win for Kark, but Greenskins are off the table, and now it'll be Tactical Lich's turn to take the initiative on what faction gets played. Maybe he'll turn it around on him. Orc Shaman getting 0 value, just casting buffs and debuffs. Grom and Paunch not getting that much value, but mostly focusing on buffing up. And I imagine we're going to start seeing some big numbers down here. 1,800, great. 1,000, fine. 955, fine. 409, but that one had full health, so he had plenty of gas left in the tank. 1,000 value for the Rusty Errors, that actually surprises me. I am shocked they got that much value. Maybe they're shooting Gorbel the whole time. Spider Riders just chasing stuff around and cleaning them up. Not a lot of value there on any of the skirmish cav. Over here for Tactical Lich, Gorbel did okay, but most of the hero squad got punked pretty hard. A lot of the Gore and Ungore herds had a tough time. Bestigors had a really tough time. Not a ton of things paid for themselves, but, I mean, you know. Greenskins are a tough faction to get your value back because everything's so cheap, and sometimes it'll just run away, so you can't even gobble them up. Well played by both players. Well played. I need to pick a new map. Map is... let's go Valley of Thieves. Valley of Thieves is good. I should go update the scoreboard. Yes, I should. Kark is a 1. While Tactical Lich thinks of his picks, we will go quick over to the bracket. So it looks like Blood Penguin is still fighting Takayaki. Maybe Takayaki scrapped back for a game 3 at this point. One would think either that or it's a very long second game, but we did have to leave their lobby, join this lobby, make it all up, and make armies get into it and such. So it's hard to believe that that game's still going. So I would bet that they're going to a game 3. I would bet. If you want to join tournaments like this in the future, you can hop in my Discord. I believe I put a link to it in the description of this video. We have various tournaments like this, some for fun, some a little more competitive, some with prize pools. We also have a speed run currently going where I posted an army. And you can race to beat it as quickly as you can, post your times in the Discord, and send me the replays, obviously. And then I do a stream, I believe Monday night. I'll be doing the stream. And gathering up the top 10, casting them, seeing who was fastest, seeing how they did it, what factions it is. A lot of good fun. Anticity's in the chat frequently as he loves that event, so maybe talk to him, pick his brain. It's always a good time. I can switch back over to the game now, as we have blocker, quick. Okay, Kark picks Empire counter-picking against Tactical Lich's Vampire Counts, who he banned High Elves and Lizardmans, 2 really good bans for Vampire Counts, as Saurus and or Phoenix Guard can grind you down quite effectively. All right, in the Discord, it looks like there was a little question about rules, but it seems like the players got over it just fine without me. I was not needed. I want to be needed. All right, looking at this build underneath what I hope is a screen blocker, looking over at the stream. Yep, good. Underneath this build is going to be something spicy. I think this is going to be good. I like what Kark's bringing to this table. It's nice. It's nice for the Empire. I wish I could tab over and watch Tactical Lich, but I cannot, alas. And I have gotten confirmation from the players that Blood, Penguin, and Takayaki are going to a game 3. Takayaki had a minor rule break, but it appears Blood Penguin didn't care. So good to know they're having a competitive series, and Grombrindle awaits, ready to chop them to bits. Good. Good. If anybody in the chat or watching this back wonders why I hosted a tournament so late. I'm trying to include the Australian scene, the Chinese scene, Korean scene, and the Western North American scene, as I live in Central North America, and I know most European tournaments take place at noon for me. So if I want to partake in them, I have to take work off, and that kind of sucks. So I'm trying to open up some more things for North American or Asian players to join. If you do want European tournaments, I've struggled to get membership for some of them. I think like last time I had to cancel it for, including myself, 3 people were going to play. And that's unfortunate. I hate to do it. I feel bad when I have to cancel a tournament, but I do host these. When I host a tournament, I have a poll up in my Discord where we can vote on what type of tournament you want to play, what the rules you want to do, that kind of thing. And, if you want to play, get a lot of votes there. I'll try to host them in European time zones again, and we'll see if we can get some people in there. But other than that, I know the North American fan base really enjoys tournaments a little later. So like me, they don't have to take work off to play. We're just trying to be as friendly as possible over here. Taking the Canadian mindset. It's looking like things are shaping up. I see no problems with Kark's build. Wonder what Tactical Lich is going to do. Now this rule set, the one with, a lot of you have heard me say it multiple times, but I never know who's coming and going. You need 10 infantry, no damage spells, no healing spells. Vampire counts are interesting, right? Because they can super easily take 10 melee infantry, no problem. So that's not hard for them. What is hard for them is no Invocation of Nehek, which is risky, which is real risky. I personally don't think vampire counts are very good in this format, but maybe Tactical Lich knows something I don't. You can have the Mortis Engine, AoE healing. You can have the Necromancer AoE healing, that kind of thing, or your Lord can have regen and such, but no casting Invocation of Nehek means if you bring like a Vargulf or a Black Coach and they get wounded, they're probably going to stay wounded for most of the match, because that passive healing is just too slow. It's too slow to get them out of trouble there. All right, ticking down the screen blocker as we load into the game. Valley of Thieves, a nice desert map for the Empire to run into the vampire counts for some reason. I don't know why they went all the way down to Nehekara to fight. They probably could have just stuck near Sylvania, but it's neither here nor there. So for Kark, I saw this build a bit. We have the Silver Bullets. We have, I believe I saw Sterling's Revenge. Sterling's Revenge, Free Company Militia, the White Wolves. Really, the White Wolves? What the hell? You never see these guys. Why the White Wolves? Vanguard deployments, Stalk. I mean, Huntsmen already have those things. Anti-large, Huntsmen already have all these things. White Wolves are immune to psychology, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why you would take them. Maybe we'll have to ask Kark if he hops into the chat later. But that is a very interesting pick indeed. Pistoliers, Free Company Militia, as we mentioned, more Pistoliers. So a decent kiting core. Here we have a Witch Hunter that I thought was very nice. With Accusation, lowers armor and missile resist, I believe. Grey Wizard. He was hovering a Heavens Caster for a while. I'm curious what made him switch at the very, very end. He switched after Tactical Lich had already readied up, so must have been a last-minute thought. And stop moving it. Stop it. I want to read things. Occam's Mind Razor and the Withering. Ooh, 2 very good spells. Not sure about the Withering, maybe just wants to lower the Graveguard armor, but as we haven't discussed, but I already knew, he has 3 Greatswords in the front with some Halberdiers in the back, so I don't think he needs to worry about armor piercing that much. Some Spearmen just fill up the ranks, but most of this is Halberdiers. And Marcus Wolfhart on foot with a net, trying to slow things down so his kiting and ranged forces can get at it. Don't wait for me, I talk fast. Okay. On the Vampire Count side, for Tactical Lich, we have 2 units of Direwolves, 2 units of Blood Knights. Very good elite cavalry corps for him. It looks like 4 zombies across the front, 2 Graveguard, 3 Graveguard, 4 Graveguard, and, yep, one of them is the Sternsman. Very good unit. Love the Sternsman. Corpse Cart with the whole Unholy Lodestones. Both across, trying to get some passive healing. Heinrich Kemmler and double White King. And Heinrich Kemmler, doesn't he have some sort of passive healing thingy? Come back. Whatever. I'm pretty sure he has 2 different healing auras that'll also be quite good. Both the White Kings have Scab Screth, and in case any observant viewers out there are wondering about the 8 infantry, both White Kings count, Heinrich Kemmler counts, and the dogs count. So the vampire counts have plenty of infantry. So the Blood Knights are going to want to avoid all of this ranged fire, but they should be able to slam into a lot of infantry and deal good damage. Definitely don't want to chase the pistolers around, and that's why Tactical Lich is avoiding them for the most part. Now maybe going to swing in just to push him off of his front line a little bit, but definitely doesn't want to just get poked down for free, as you cannot cast Invocation of Nehek. You don't have that spell, and that will really limit the Blood Knights' abilities. Yep, it looks like Kemmler only has Van Helsdan's Macabre and a zombie summon. And plus Krell, of course. Everybody loves Krell. But no Invocation of Nehek. Vampires are just going to rely on the AoE healing. So Empire teeing off well. Their box has now been assaulted, but I think the White Wolves and the Silver Bullets should be firing soon. It looks like there's some repositioning by Kark, which is not exactly what you want to see at this point. This point is where you need to get your damage off real quick before you get punched through on the front line. But a good play over here is the Blood Knights getting netted down, and maybe that's what the Silver Bullets are trying for. The White Wolves also trying to shoot. Silver Bullets turn into a straight column and try to fire down the line. Interesting, but maybe just wanted to get the shots off and was struggling with the AI. Blood Knights charging to the side here will do some good leadership damage to the Greatswords, getting rear charged and side charged while already losing in combat. It's going to be tough. And Sterling's Revenge taking a bad hit from the White King Scabscreth, as are the Silver Bullets. Some good damage there. Dogs in the back ready to pick off anything that breaks, and we already have one Spearman going away and a Great Sword, so the dogs should be all over that. The rest of this undead force should push in. One of the corpse carts is getting a nice new paint job of holes. It does not enjoy that very much, and its healing cap is already well within sight if it could get healed at all. Kemmler and 2 White Kings chilling, thinking about where to go, what to do. Certainly have a hard time getting on top of Marcus Wolfhart. He is a fast boy, but the Stearnsmen have managed it. And Wolfhart jumping in there. He's not afraid to go toe-to-toe with these elite foot knights of the undead forces. Dogs getting into the cookie jar here a little bit. Witch Hunter will be fine, but the Wolves of Ulrich and Sterling's Revenge are already driven outside of the box. Maybe if the Blood Knights can swing around here and really pressure them back into the box, back into this thicket, that'll be good for him. Halberdiers are going down over here, just surrounded by too many things all at once, getting attacked. A nice Scabscrath could come down here. I would imagine it will soon if it's not on cooldown. Kemmler summoning zombies? Yep, zombies over here just to keep Sterling's Revenge from firing, keep the Silver Bullets tied up as well, because he knows he can't get to them just yet. Overall, I think this is going well for the Vampire counts. They are pushing in on all sides. They've really punched through this front line, and a lot of the bounce power is even-ish, but it is accounting for all the ammo still left on these characters. Even if they can't fire, it still counts on the balance of power. So I think as long as Lich keeps him running, Lich will keep winning. I wonder if Krell's been summoned yet. I see White King, White King. I don't see another symbol for that, so I think Krell is staying in the back pocket for maybe later in the game. Maybe we'll have an epic Witch Hunter versus Krell duel that I think will go quite handedly to the boy Krell. Now, the Empire have taken position on this dune. They're doing fine, trying to get away. The Silver Bullets are being dragged slowly back into melee combat with the Stearnsmen, which is really bad for them. They do need to keep running away from there. But the White Wolves and Sterling's Revenge are soon going to be able to fire into these Blood Knights. But the Blood Knights and Dogs should be able to just charge up here and take out this whole force, honestly. The Pistolers will run, but won't be able to do enough damage. Direwolves getting on top of the Silver Bullets, very good. And I think the Empire is in just too much trouble from too many sides. Even without the healing, the Vampires are rolling over the front line, and Heinrich Kemmler, with the Unholy Lodestone and his own buffs, is actually heal capping without ever using Invocation Deck. Very funny. Casting the Withering, I think, is that overcasted? Don't know. It's not telling me. But casting it just to get the -8 leadership and break this little pocket off. He is done fighting in the grind and just wants to move on with his day. Balance power starting to finally reflect the fact that the Vampire counts are an advantage as Graveguard and zombies just slowly push forward, slowly grind down these Empire troops, and there's not a lot Kark can do about it. He can only kite so far. Some wounded infantry trying to come back in, but I'm pretty sure their leadership will tank as soon as they get into combat with these elite undead knights. Blood Knights here, very low, very wounded, maybe want to pull back a little bit to their healing core, but they are also needed to keep the guns offline. You can't heal if you're getting shot, my friends. It usually doesn't work out great for you. Silver Bullets rallying again on the back line. I think they only have one more break in them, if that, but their health is so low that they might just shatter if they ever break again. Where are the White Wolves? White Wolves are a little mucked up in this. They are in melee combat, which is unfortunate. They won't be firing as much. Grey Wizards running back, but I don't think there's much left for the Vampire Counts. For the Empire to do at this point. They're just a little too behind. A nice net coming in, and while I am talking mad shit about them, Heinrich Himmler is down to almost half health and healing cap, so he has been getting work done. Is that Krell? Yeah! Krell's running after Marcus Wolfhart. Never mind, he's running back into zombies. Never mind, he's running after Marcus Wolfhart. He's trying to get in there. Some zombies are kind of getting in his way, and poor Krell just wants to party with the Wolfhart. Vampire count push going really well. The Empire have secured the Dune yet again, but I don't think they have enough guns left to get out of this mess. Heinrich Himmler heal capped and down to about 1/3 health, but that's doing okay for him. Krell taking a shot straight to the face, doesn't care. Still running slowly after Wolfhart, who has 3 more speed than him, so he should be fine. Wolfhart firing back, trying to shoot the Blood Knights, just trying to run Krell out of time, but Krell has a crazy long summon duration, so I think he will be here until the end of this game unless he's killed. Blood Knights finally coming in to help out, and Krell getting one hit onto Marcus Wolfhart before Marcus calmly walks away, just blind firing, 360 no-scoping Krell in the face. Gotta love it. I gotta love how his run animation is actually just a stern walk. Back in melee combat, getting axed in the face by Krell. Over here, a Witch Hunter is, I believe, beating the crap out of some Blood Knights, though they were super wounded going into this. So that is not a fair comparison. But he has his little dual pistol thing, a rapier. He's doing well. If you played Vermintide, you know that the Witch Hunter is nothing to scoff at. Maybe Saltspire's best class. And Kark will concede as his pistoliers had run out of ammo and his infantry had run out of time. Well played, and that should take the series to 1-1 if I'm not mistaken. So while I wait for that to load, I will go to Tactical Lich. Whoop, never mind. Wolfhart paying for himself, doing quite well. Witch Hunter, not as much. Poor guy, shot, but did not get what he needed. Frontline did okay. Great Swords did fine. Handgunners and Free Company Militia. The White Wolves actually doing more than their value, I believe. But the Empire Force in general just kind of paid for itself, which when you're against a massive AoE regen blob, you unfortunately need to pay for yourself about twice over, because the enemy gets 2 lives. Graveguard doing fine, Blood Knights doing well, Dogs getting a good amount of value as well, but just a slow push and grind to victory, as the Vampire Counts love to do. Last map, Oakenhammer. We love Oakenhammer. It's a classic. It's a classic. All right. So software is being dumb. I will have to move this so I can see what I'm doing. Type that to a 1, and then respace it out. Tactical Lich. Perfect. Perfect. If we look back at the challenge bracket, Blood Penguin and my stand-in Takoyaki are still fighting it out. We will see who advances from them. Picks 3, just in case they don't know what's going on. Bans 1. Kark bans 1 of the 3. And picks. Lich picks from 2 remaining. They probably know. That's the standard tournament pick ban system, but I did technically not specify it, so it's good to just throw that in there in case they need it. In case they need it. I need to put a screen blocker back up before they do any of their army things. Ciao. Get the nice Disco Khorne in there. Disco Khorne and the Storm Vermin, probably on an illicit drug if he's at a rave doing that with his face. But we'll see. Well, I suppose we won't see. Unless you're at that particular rave, in which case it's fictional and I'm worried about you. They're going to do their picks and bans real quick. I am going to leave for just a brief moment. Just a brief moment. Hit the little rat's room, as this is one semifinal, then we have another one, then we have a best of 5 final coming up. So there's more to go. Gonna refresh my water as well. Chat, take care of yourself. Alrighty. I've returned. Oh. Is it party time? Tactical Lich picking Lizardmen, Warriors of Chaos, and Wood Elves. Bandawi. We will go beardless in this last game. Checking the challenge. Blood Penguin and Takoyaki still fighting. Oh, chat. Oh, the 6 people here and the people rewatching. It's a late night stream. Late night feels right. I really wish. Recently, my family, we figured out we have a genetic disorder that potentially our liver will shut down, which is sweet. So docs ordered me not to drink anything for 6 months, and then, which we are 4 months into? Yeah, 4 months into. And then I get to go in, they'll do some blood work, and if my liver's fine after the 6 months of not drinking, then I'll observe it for the rest of my life, but I'll be able to drink again until it shuts down and I die. But at the moment it sucks, because really not, like, it's 9 p.m. where I am, casting game. I'd love to just grab a beer or 5 and cast these, getting a little loopier and loopier as I go. I think that would be enjoyable, but instead I'm here, stone sober, staring into the endless void that is apparently Vampire Coast versus either Lizardmen or Warriors of Chaos. That's a good pick. That's a good pick by Kark, because the 2 options Tactical Lich has left are Lizardmen, which are super countered by Vampire Coast, or Warriors of Chaos, which, depending on who you talk to, could go either way. Some people think it's really Chaos favored. Some people think it's Coast favored. A friend of mine, Yawning Firefly, cool dude. If you run into him, give him a shout out, because he is great. He's a Vampire Coast main, and I was talking to him a bit about this matchup, and we came up with an actually really dirty build of Queen Bess. I know, it's a meme, but we love it. Queen Bess, Noctilus on his peg leg, and then he stands perfectly in front of Queen Bess to block it from like fireballs or other crap like that. Stops it from getting sniped. 2 gun bats with handguns, a crap ton of pole arms, and zombies in the front line, and then I believe, 2 gunnery whites on crabs with their version of Scab's Wrath. And what you do is, obviously, Queen Bess can shoot all the Chaos Warriors with halberds that they love to bring in this matchup. What else? Why am I blanking on what else they bring? Chaos Warriors with halberds they always bring. They always bring Sigvald and the gunnery whites on the crabs. Now, he can 1v1 a gunnery white on a crab, but if you send both of them after him, they will whoop his ass. So you use them for that. Noctilus can shoot at the caster. The gun bats and Noctilus together can shoot at the skirmish cav first, and once you kill the skirmish cav, you own the skies, and you can run around shooting Sigvald, shooting the caster, shooting whatever you want at that point, because Chaos doesn't have any infantry-based range, so once you take out the cav, you're good. And I believe I am 6-1 in that build, and the one time I lost, I massively misplayed. So I like that build a lot. It's good. It is a good build. William Crowdus saying, "It's okay, I'm stone cold sober with you, bro." Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the support. My lovely lady friend moved in with me recently after a 2-year long distance relationship, and I will say, like, it's she's fine, and she asked me beforehand, of course, because she doesn't want me to feel bad. But it sucks, like when we sit down for a movie night, something, and she has like this big old goblet of wine, and I'm just sitting there with my water, enjoying my day. But I miss it, especially because I work on board games a lot, and I'm actually launching one super soon called Puppet Masters. Maybe if I'm not technologically inept, I can pull that up. Media, but yeah, well, I'm working on that, and I have to, because I think there's over 200 cards in the game, and I have to slightly edit everything because the company I'm working with is like, can you move this slightly to the right? And I'm like, okay, sure, yay. I love moving things slightly. So I have to go through all of them, and it's just really nice if you put on music, get a couple glasses of wine in you, and you just do this monotonous task over and over again. But recently I had to do some of that sober, and that's not as fun, unfortunately. Photoshop files. Oh, where the heck are you, cover thing? Pictures? No. It's not in pictures. I need to organize these files better. It's just files on files on files. Scrap dogs, dead. Angels. Oh, that's because I'm in the wrong place. Duh, it's not here. Stuff on desktop. Just waiting on the army picks in-game. Oakenhammer, Vampire Coast versus Warriors of Chaos. Certainly a good matchup. Done. Ah, here we are. Here we are. Need to fix cover. Cover finished. Open. Is that it? Ah, yes, there it is. Boom. Puppet Masters. So yeah, I have a board game coming out soon. Should be done and ready to produce by the end of the summer, because I'm just working with a factory on producing it. They're sending me a prototype within the next 2 weeks. I'll double check it, make sure everything's fine with that. But the box cover's on your screen there, if I did technology correctly. And the basic point of the game is, you know, Magic the Gathering, right? It's a good game. It's a fun game. Everybody loves Magic the Gathering. Who doesn't? Well, me. I hate Magic the Gathering, and here's why. All right? Because it's bullshit. It's a bullshit game. I got a deck when I was in high school, and then I forgot about the game for a long time, and I wanted to play with my friend who had an up-to-date competitive deck these days, right? Go to his house. We bust out our decks. We're just, you know, just having a good time. And my deck at this point, because I was out of high school for like 6 or 7 years or something, I could cast one zombie for like 2 mana, and it was like a 1/1 or a 0/1 or some shit like that. And he puts out this mechanical gyrocopter looking thing that's a flying 1/1 for 1 neutral mana. So you could use any mana you wanted. You could get the stupid 1/1 flyer. And then for 2 mana, he put down a helicopter base where every time he killed somebody, he got another one of those stupid friggin' helicopters. And we just, like, I lost the game super quickly and it felt really doomed. And that sucks. And you hate to feel that way. And then we went and like just compared the decks, and it's like he just had better cards that were worth more. And I learned that over time, these cards ramp, right? Because they got to make the next card slightly better so that you'll buy it. Next card slightly better, next card slightly better, next card slightly better, and all that crap. And I hate that. I hate that marketing model, you know? Because if you want to play this game, and Magic's fun, you want to play Magic, you have to keep throwing money at them, and I hate it. So Puppet Masters, the concept is you pick a puppet master, a very powerful mage who can like control people's minds, and they have various stats. They have various abilities, like, oh, I'm slightly better at controlling zombies, and oh, I'm slightly better at controlling like minotaurs or whatever, you know, some shit. And they have different health and stuff. So that's your character. And then you pick decks to play with, like undead or knights or humans or beasts, etc. And then once you pick your decks, you shuffle all the decks together and you draw them out into a field. So it's like you and this other wizard met in this field, and you're about to have this magical duel, and it's sweet. But that way, if I ever release cards in expansions that are too overpowered or too overtuned, at least both players get to play with them, and you don't just get shot out of the game right away, because that shit sucks. I don't know. It just sucks to sit down and know you're going to lose. And that's my rant about Magic, and why my board game's going to be better. What? Hopefully. But we'll see. Put a lot of work into it. I think I've been working on it for 4 years. But we're into the game. I think I took the screen blocker down. I believe it did. Checking. Yep, it's gone. So the Vampirates have 2 deck droppers, 3 deck droppers with pistols, 1 with handguns, 3 sirens, a Queen Bess. Love to see it. We love the Queen here, and not the British one. The Queen Bess. Zombie Pirate deck of hands mobs with pole arms is good. Mobs with handguns. Celestial Deerfawn, very nice pick. You don't see her a lot, but because you can't take Invocation of the Heck in this tournament, she is probably the best lord you could bring on her crab. And on the other side, I'm guessing it's Sigvald the Magnificent. It is Sigvald the Magnificent. You used to love to see him, but now we're a little sick of it. Horseman, 4 Marauder Horsemen, 2 Chaos Warhounds with poison. It looks like they have some Aspiring Champions mixed in, 2 of them. They do magic damage, so maybe they can deal with the sirens. We will see. 4 Chaos Marauders, 3 Forsaken, and 2 Chaos Warriors with halberds, while there's a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal with Plague of Rust and Transmutation of Lead in the background. Good force. Good force by Chaos. To be sure, the Forsaken are just going to absolutely butcher the front line of the Vampire Coast. And I just got to make sure. 4, 3, 4. Yep, plenty of infantry on the ground for the coast. So both armies are plenty legal. The Marauder Horsemen are curious. They're curious. I usually see Marauder Horse Masters in this matchup. But I guess the Horsemen will do okay. I'm worried they won't do a lot of damage versus Solastra. And I'm worried that... I mean, they're obviously not going to do a lot of damage against the Sirens. They don't have any magic damage. I don't know. That's going to be tricky for the Chaos player. But Tactical Lich is going to advance quickly. Queen Bess already firing in, missing the Chaos Warriors with halberds because they were standing still when she fired, and then they started moving. Classic dodge by walking tactics. But she doesn't care. She's going to keep firing off. Now, without any gunnery wights, Queen Bess only has the ammo she's got, which could be a little tricky for the coast. She definitely likes having refills. And the Chaos Marauders already down to half health after hit, but I do think all those Queen Bess shots need to be going here into the Forsaken or back into the Chaos Warriors with halberds. Who cares about the Marauders? They're dead to you anyway. Now here, as I was talking about with the theoretical build at the start, the deck droppers are actually more proficient than you'd think, and maybe than they should be, at dealing with Skirmish Cav, the only tools Chaos have to fight them. So definitely if you're going to go this matchup, even if you don't go with my Queen Bess nonsense, you should take as many deck droppers as you're allowed. They are very good. Annoying for the other guy, good for you. The Warhounds are in the back, and Queen Bess is wide open for the taking. This is going to be really bad for Kark if this happens. Tactical Lich is getting in there, and Queen Bess's crew is going to get eaten alive. ROR or not, they are still just poor cannon boys living their poor cannon life. Those dogs are all over them, just tearing them to pieces, and I think they're going to be shut down. I don't know if Kark even knows that they are in danger yet. Forsaken getting on top of the pirate deckhand bobs, and without bombers to be throwing over their shoulders, the Forsaken should make quick work of them, even though they are a meat shield unit. Queen Bess admirably holding on and firing to the last, I shouldn't say man, to the last thing, but they will be getting shut down very quickly here. The dogs are doing good work. Now the pole arms and sirens are coming in, and they will terrify off these dogs quite quickly, as dogs are dirty, filthy cowards. So surprisingly, Queen Bess gets saved. All right, I thought the dogs would have done more work. And here, Prince Sigvald the Magnificent is getting destroyed by Solastra as she has cast Song of Enthrallment and I believe Fog of the Damned. Yep, lowering his melee attack double. So I believe for a moment there he was down to 20 or so, which is bad for him. He's already at half health, surrounded by Sirens and a giant crab beating him up. But while that's going poorly for Sigvald, this flank right here is going very nicely for Chaos. They are killing it on that front. Those zombies already fleeing, and dogs in the back running into some pole arms. Maybe not the best choice for them. Should have waited, got back onto Queen Bess and shut her down. The Marauder Horsemen, while they are losing the fight against the bats, they are taking down some of them, and more importantly, they're using up their ammo without a gunnery wight to reload them. That will be important for later. Did Sigvald manage to get out of there? Yes, he did. If he can sit around and regen for a while, that'll be good for him. Chaos Warriors and Chaos Warriors with halberds are trying to cut through these Sirens, doing decent damage as Queen Bess kind of friendly fired some of her own troops, but a damn Knight's Errant Summon coming out and is just immediately going to jump onto this Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, who he just leaps straight at him. He ain't afraid of no ghost. Good for him. Forsaken back on Queen Bess. Some of them standing around uselessly attacking pole arms, but some getting back into the cookie jar there. And honestly, Vampire Coast doing better than I thought they would. The Sirens are doing good work, especially without a burning head to cut through them. But in the backfield, we see all four of these Marauder Horsemen have rallied, and the deck droppers are in real trouble as they are surrounded. Tactical Lich is doing his best with the situation presented to him. Prince Sigvald is fighting up against Solastra, his ceiling cap already within sight, and his leadership down to half. It's weird to see him breaking before the literal end game, as Sigvald can normally hold on forever. Dogs back in to support the Forsaken, and Queen Bess still firing while constantly under siege. They took the Dwarven mentality of fire, reload, fire. We're fighting some dogs back here. Doesn't matter. Keep firing. You're doing great. Sigvald not having a good time at all versus Solastra. She has just been following him around and punching him in the back. And it looks like Kark is probably going to take this game. Sure, the Damn Knights Errant will be fading quite soon, but I don't think Chaos has enough left in the tank to fight this out. Some Marauder Horsemen coming back in, but the only thing they have left to shoot at is maybe these handguns in the sky. Knights Errant have faded before the Chaos Warrior, Chaos Sorcerer broke or died. It's good for them there. And I believe Slosser chased down Sigvald. Yes, she did, and she managed to break him. If they can walk him off the map or just have the deck dropper shoot him to death, that would be a good call. Queen Bess firing, but almost out of ammo. Can Chaos pull this back? Maybe. Maybe they can form a Death Star and grind it down. Because in reality, if we look at it here, it is 2 Sirens. Yep, 2 Sirens, some worthless zombies, more worthless zombies, and Solostra. I do think Solostra's going to be able to carry this game out, but never know. RNGesus is a fickle god. Aspiring Champions getting on top of these Sirens. They will do good damage, but unfortunately Solostra is also here, and she'll do even more. That's looking like it. It looks like Kark will be able to pull out our first semi-final victory. And it looks like a GG going down in the chat from both players. Very well played by Tactical Lich. You love to see it, but the Vampire Coast are just a little too thick this game, with their very thick Maiden leading them. And I love her crab. It's a ship crab. Alright, what's left? Is there Unbreakable troops? No, there's no Hell Cannon. That's fine. Challenge, it looks like Blood Penguin and Grombrindle are ready to fight on the other semi-final. Let's see if they waited for us or they abandoned us. Solostra getting 1,500 value, probably almost all of it from Sigvald, just slapping him all day long. Zombies did fine. Sirens did fine. But the handgunner bats did well. Pistol bats paid for themselves. Queen Bess did great, and the one handgun mob did fine as well. On the other side, Sigvald got absolutely trash canned. 4 Chaos Marauders did fine. Forsaken cut through a lot of things. One got 148 kills, one got 140. Chaos Warriors with Halberds didn't have a lot of crabs to fight. Normally they like to see the double gunnery white or the Marauding Prometheans, and the dogs did well. GG, well played to both. See you in finals, Kark. Alright, backing out of this. Checking to see if there's anything anyone said to me. Nope. Grombrindle, if you're still in the chat, you're up, buddy. Grombrindle versus Penguin. Spectate. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Great. And we are rolling right along. Okay. Get the screen blocker up. Change this thing to Blood Penguin. And scroll over to Grombrindle. And the score is currently, unsurprisingly, 0-0 as we just started. Lovely. Move that a little bit if this Photoshop abomination will cooperate. Alright, Blood Penguin, your name's too long. You're getting shortened. Sorry, buddy. Oh, I need to pick a map. Hi, lads. Map's more important than whatever crap I was doing. What do we start with? What do we start with? Ooh, Pillar of Bone. Everybody loves Pillar of Bone. Pliar of Bone! We love the Pliar of Bone. Whatever. You know what I meant. Bloodbird. Nah, Blood Pen. He's Blood Pen. Move it slightly. There. Ugh. Don't you hate when programs think they know better than you, where you're just trying to position something and it's like, you can see that big skip it's doing when I'm trying to move it around, where it's like, no, you want it here. I know better than you. You want it up here slightly. Please. Please, sir, go in the boxes. You know what? There. This is as good as we're going to get. We take it. And I'm going to shorten Grombrindle's name to Gromby. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. So we have Kark waiting in the finals for either the winner of this series with Blood Penguin and Chad Thorgrim. I believe Chad Thorgrim is up very late for his hour, if I am not mistaken, because I believe he is Eastern European, so it's probably 2 or 3 a.m. over there. Poor guy. Blood Penguin starting off with an Empire pick, banning Dwarves and Vampire counts. Dwarves is a good counter to Empire. Very solid, a lot of high armor that the Empire has trouble dealing with, but also, I believe Blood Penguin knows that Grombrindle is an excellent dwarf player, part of the Sons of the Mountain clan. He probably just wants to avoid that matchup as long as he can. Though, if I know Thorgrim, he's going to first pick it on his side, no matter what. So we will see. We will see, we will see, we will see. It's curious seeing Empire in this format, especially when you're kind of trying to rush a bunch of infantry with the rule set we have going. And then Empire infantry is, I don't want to say terrible, but terrible. So running a bunch of them and buffing them is going to be tricky. But maybe the players know something I don't. Maybe it's just their favorite faction and they'll do it anyway. Chad Thorgrim going greenskins, betraying his Dowie. Interesting to see. I didn't know he actually played greenskins at all. In our conversations, I mean, our conversations are usually very meme-filled because he's a fun guy. Haha, greenskins, fun guy, because they're mushrooms. He's so funny. But he's normally always cussing me out about greenskins, so it's interesting to see him pick him. Little bit of hypocrisy there from Grombrindle. To anybody in chat, I'm just curious, are any of you partaking in my speedrun challenge right now? And if so, how's it going for you? I know Anticity got his army to beat it in about 50 seconds? 53? Let's see. Anticity, so I can't think of a strat that goes faster than 52 seconds, except maybe an insane rush that somehow nukes the biggin. Yeah, 52 seconds is currently the best. So if you want to win 20 bucks and beat a greenskin army that I made faster than 52 seconds, hop in. Or if you think you can even get top 10, I will be casting the top 10 runs, as we did a previous test of this against a Dark Elf army I built. And with 5 runs on a stream, the stream went all of 30 minutes because I kind of forgot that it's a speedrun stream. So of course, all the games are going to be less than a minute long. Though, to be fair, when I made the challenge, I didn't think that people could beat that army in less than a minute. But if you're interested to see what's going on, join the Discord, go down to the Speedruns tab, and check it out. I made a greenskin army with a bunch of goblin archers, a bunch of spider riders, and other fast crap, and then in the center is Grombrindle and... Grom the Paunch, and a rogue idol as the center leadership core and heavy armor and stuff. So the army you're going to speedrun with is going to need fast elements to take down all those other things and round them up because the AI is going to skirmish you, obviously. And you need a bit of punch to take down the rogue idol and Grom the Paunch. So it'll be interesting to see what the players came up with. Last time it was a bit of a greenskin fest, but we did see, I believe it was F&G took Norska and did quite well. I think he beat the Dark Elf army in around a minute and a half. And then Bobman took Wood Elves, did quite well with Triple Way Watcher. And then Way, another good player and a fun guy, unfortunately had the wrong map, so we did have to disqualify him, but we watched his game anyway, and he took Skaven with a whole bunch of weapons teams. So I think he had like 4 Rattling Guns, 4 Warplock Jezzails, and just shot the AI to death. So it's a lot of fun, you know. And you get to talk to cool people, like Anticity, Butcherbird are usually super active in that chat. They really like the speedrun format. A friend of mine, where I know his name, but I don't know how to say it, because it is a very long name, not of my culture, so I'm not sure what it is, but he is a cool guy. He's also been in there chatting. Hank Cyrus, he's sometimes in this chat. He's frequently in the speedrun chat, so a lot of cool people. You get to try some funky builds. But if you do want to enter that, you have till Monday. Monday night at midnight, I'm closing the gate, not accepting any more replays at that point. Then I'll round them up and cast them at a later date. I almost just announced what's in Blood Penguin's army right now, which would be very stupid of me. but I'm staring at it. He's currently... He keeps selecting the same unit and then getting rid of it, and then selecting a different unit and getting rid of it, and going back to the first unit, so I think he's at a bit of an impasse about what he wants to do. But it's important because it's his carry unit. The chaff is staying the same, it's just what he thinks will carry him through this game is what he's trying to figure out. Poor guy. Alright, and he's ready. So we'll load in the game, we'll see what Grombrindle has to offer on the nefarious greenskins. Now, I and everybody else in this community is sick of seeing the green skins, but to make it a little bit easier on you, there can't be Spirit Leech, there can't be Vindictive Glare, so maybe we'll see something a little more interesting. Because before the green skins were super toxic, I did enjoy them myself. I liked Savage Orc Big in rushes. I liked casting Here We Go, you know, casting a Wah. But those were better days. Now it's just Spider Rider, Skirmish Cav, and crying. Lots of crying. Loading into Pillar Bone, small map, hopefully get right into the action. Not too much faffing about, but from what I saw of Blood Penguin's build, he does not intend to shy away from this fight. Just loading in. I know Blood Penguin is US time. I believe he's Eastern US. So connecting across the world to Grombrindle might take a second. Might take a second. Alright, armies are here. We'll start with the one I saw before. So we have some Empire Knights, very similar to what Deadly Brunnies brought earlier against Skaven. We have Triple Huntsmen to try to take down Stone Trolls or any Spider Riders. A mix of Greatsword Spearmen and Swordsmen in the front, with Sigmar's Sons as unbreakable front lines, and Balthazar Gelt in the sky. Very interesting choice. Arcane Conduit and his special, I believe it's Staff of Volans. Yep, Staff of Volans for another Arcane Conduit type effect. Plague of Rust and Transmutation of Lead, two very popular spells in this tournament today. Good to see it. Good to avoid just final trans casting. So we have 3 goblins on the front line, maybe some more. Night Goblins, it looks like Fanatics. 1 Night Goblin with Fanatic, another without. Yeah, I should be able to see the spinning loons if they're there, and they are not. So basic Night Goblins. Some nasty Skulkers on the side to give good armor piercing and the smoke bombs. So interesting that these Night Goblins on the flank do not have the spinning loons. I think the basic Night Goblins are kind of trash. I mean, they give poison and they're stalking, but that's it, and they're bad. So we'll see if Grombrindle can make them work. Some Snotling Pump Wagons with the spiky rollers. All right. Man of the People here, really trying to keep this interesting for us. Broken Tusks Mob, Orc Board Biggins. The ROR, some Savage Orcs to back up the front line, not Savage Orc Biggins, and Rusty Errors. So, Chad Thorgrim, I gotta say, going for a bit of a meme build. I'm not sure about this one. Grom the Punch on his chariot will be in the front, and does he even have a caster? I'm not seeing a caster. Oh, way back here. Night Goblin Shaman with Vindictive Glare. He cannot cast that, so it is wasted money, and if he does cast it, I will have a stern talking to the Dowie. But he does have Sneaky Stab, and he does have Itchy Nuisance, Madcap Mushroom, so as long as he doesn't cast that Vindictive Glare, he is fine. Okay, just alerting him. It's not, now, it is, okay, it's a rule break if he casts the spell, but if he doesn't cast the spell, all he did was waste gold and it hurts him, so I think that that's fine. But if I do see a Vindictive Glare, he's going to have troubles. I will have to, at that point, offer Tactical Lich. Well, if Tactical Lich, wait, not Tactical Lich, sorry. If Blood Penguin wins, it's fine. And if he casts Vindictive Glare and Grombrindle wins, we're going to have a problem. So it looks like he knows. And he has other spells, so it's not like the mage is entirely wasted. And I think Vindictive Glare is like 60 gold or something, so it's not even that big of an investment wasted. But it's probably just muscle memory, because you always take Vindictive Glare otherwise. Probably just didn't get rid of it. We should be good to go soon. It looks like the Empire forces are quite ready. So no hold up there. Players just saying good luck, have fun, and we are getting into it. Now Grom the Paunch normally would like to get right on top of the Empire Lord and kill them, but Balthazar Gelt's in the sky, and with only one archer to Rusty Errors, it should be pretty good for him to stay alive. Tactical Itch in the chat saying, thanks for hosting the tourney. Gotta go. All right. See you around. And again, Tactical Itch, if you have some time, check out some of his videos. I know he is a YouTuber, and I see his posts all the time. He usually likes to do breakdowns of individual games, like why he took this army so and so. So, cool dude if you want to get better at the game. Gromlin Paunch charging through Sigmar's Sons, just getting some free value while he can. Sure, he's getting shot by Huntsman, but he'll pull back and regen no problem. Orkboar Biggins and Pump Wagons are trying to get around the sides. They definitely want to challenge these Empire Knights to a fight, as the Orkboar Biggins will destroy them in that combat. Grom taking more poke than I think he signed up for, but he'll get through it just fine. Nasty Skulkers advancing, and if they can get up here, these Goblins will get charged by the Empire Knights, get a lot of work done on them, but then these guys can cast their Smoke Bomb, slow the Empire Knights down, get in there with some armor piercing, and Gromlin Paunch slash this flank can really mess up this pocket. So let's see if the Nasty Skulkers cast their Smoke Bombs in time, but that will be good for them. Loons going down in the front. It looks like there was an ROR Night Goblin and a regular Night Goblin. Huh. Maybe these Night Goblins do have the spinning loons, I just can't see it because spectator bugs be spectator bugs. Broken Tusk Mob currently getting shot by Huntsman. They do need to get moving and get in here. They should have nothing to fear on the flanks. As we can see on this side, when they collapse, Empire Knights and everything in this area just routing. So this is a terrible spot for the Empire. The center is also collapsing, and it just looks like they are outclassed in general. Now, something happened to Balthazar Gelt while I wasn't looking. He must have been shot by a bunch of Rusty Errors. I'm sure if he got Vindictive Glared, Blood Penguin will tell me later. Snotling Pump Wagons and the Broken Tusk Mob, a little idle. They do need to get on top of these Empire Knights and just crump them down so they can get into these archers. Spearmen have somehow stayed fighting in the middle of this absolute mess, but once they collapse, all these units will push in and in and in and take out the Huntsman. Front line's already collapsed for the Empire, and it's looking pretty bad for them. I am super curious what happened to Gelt. He got dumpstered. Empire Knights in the back rallying, but as you can see from the balance of power and from what I've been saying about this game, the Empire really don't have anything winning for them, so they don't have any advantage they can push. Just some great swords desperately trying to fight against Savage Orcs and the 8-peak loonies, but they're getting cut to pieces, and I think they got spun upon. Sigmar's Sons actually won a fight. There's one fight that went well for them, but these Huntsmen are already getting collapsed on. There's so much stuff around here that I don't think they can call that a win. Troops rallying in the backfield, but too much has gone too poorly for the Empire for them to be able to pull this out. Unfortunate indeed. But they're rallying, trying to fight to their last. Army losses will be kicking in pretty soon here as the Huntsmen and the last vestiges of strength in the Empire frontline break. Sigmar's Sons are down to just a few models. Huntsmen are pulling back, and as you can see from the massive leadership dip, we're going to see some nice little skulls above their heads, and they are gone. It's just down to the poor Sigmar's Sons stabbing some boars in the butts. GG, well played. GG, well played. Alright, the Goblin has 18 value, so there's no way he overcasted a Vindictive Glare and sniped Gelt, because he would have a lot more value on him. Empire frontline, as we were talking about, just kind of not doing a lot. Their infantry does suck, but their faction is held up mostly by their versatility and their diverse roster, not the strength of their front line. It looks like Brombrindle was able to just slam through there. Loons doing good work on the greatswords. Pump Wagons doing okay. I mean, not paying for themselves yet, but they were still 3 out of 3 models. They're doing fine. The Rusty Errors got a ton of value. They must have been what sniped Gelt out. Savage Orcs did fine. Nasty Skulkers did fine. Yeah, just a good all-around build. Good job, Chad Thorgrim. He will be going up 1-0. Okay. I gotta go update the score and get that going. Back to the disco lights with my Storm Vermin, probably on ecstasy. Probably. I can't prove it, but I can't not prove it. Look at him. Look at him. He's having the time of his life. Map, we will do Cliff. No, not Cliff of Beast. Cliff of Beast is too big. It's too big. South Chaos Wastes. South Chaos Wastes is a good map. You don't see it a ton. All right. Yeah, poor Gelt. Had a real tough time there. We will see what tactical... I keep saying tactical lich. I don't know why, but we'll see what Blood Penguin decides to choose against the Dowie. High Elves Escape being banned is, you know, those are good bans for Dowie, but the reason the Dwarves aren't normally first pick is because there's so much that's good against them. Dark Elves especially are very good against them, in my opinion. A strong infantry rush could take them down. But it looks like Blood Penguin is going to opt into Chaos. Chaos versus Dwarves. We did see this earlier. Blood Penguin took... Yeah, Blood Penguin versus Takoyaki. I imagine he's just going to copy-paste that build and hope that Grombrindle didn't see it. But unfortunately for Blood Penguin, I think Grombrindle was waiting for his game at the time, so he could have watched the stream and seen this. It's going to be a little tricky for him. Though, behind my screen blocker, I can see what's going on. We will announce officially what's going on in the chat. Well, not in the chat, in the game. But I can tell you this. I think he's aware that taking the same build is dangerous. Because we're seeing a little bit of spice. Instead of a breakfast burrito, this is more of an egg and cheese. So we'll see. On Thorgrim's side, I can't see what's going on, but I should probably shut up anyway. I've said too much. I've said too much. Anybody see, this is a weird question, but anybody see Kong versus Godzilla? I didn't get around to it. I was supposed to have gone with some friends, but something came up the day of and I couldn't go. And I never actually got to the end. I heard a spoiler on what happens in the end, so I don't really care about spoilers too much, but I don't know. I wanted to go see it. I always love a good Monster Mash movie. Pacific Rim 1, I used to watch, whenever I was studying for a test in college, I would throw it on in the background. Because that soundtrack was, delicious. Really good. Especially Gypsy Danger. The song Gypsy Danger in that soundtrack, if you can look it up on Spotify, it's delightful. It's perfect. I like to listen to it sometimes when I'm not streaming, because I don't make money from this, but I also don't want my videos taken down. Obviously, I don't stream with that music on, or I would get slapped very quickly. But it is good background music for Warhammer. If you've played a lot of hours and you're tired of this soundtrack, which is good, but you can only listen to the same song so many times. And most of us that play a crap ton of this game have 1,000+ hours into it. So it's nice to throw other music on in the background. Red Alert 1 and 2 have really good soundtracks for throwing on in the background. Pacific Rim, as I just mentioned, another good one. I'm trying to think, because I usually don't like lyrics. I don't like lyrics in the background while I'm trying to focus on a strategy game of some kind. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, focusing on the game a little bit. Blood Penguin picking Chaos into Chad Thorgrim, or Grombrindle, as he's otherwise known, into his dwarves. I'm wondering if we'll see a double Hail Cannon. I personally like that when I play against dwarves. Now, I don't have to take 10 infantry because I'm not playing in the Khorne rules on Intensity Ladder, but I'd take double Hail Cannon, double, or even triple throwing axes just to keep the gyrocopters at bay. But we'll see what Blood Penguin has decided to do as we are launching into the game here. I will get rid of the screen blocker. Someone messaged me, but it's not someone involved in the tournament right now, so I will check that later. I'm just making sure that it wasn't Kark saying he had to go to bed or something, as that would be awkward for our finals. All right. Loading in, countdown's coming. Probably around, I'm going to guess 2:53. Yep, 2:53 the armies will appear. 2, 1. Ah, son of a bitch, I missed. But pretty soon. South Chaos Waste, good map. I say not a lot of terrain as I zoom out and see that. What the heck is that? Ew. That's a weird lava pit. Anyway, moving on. Not a lot of terrain on the battlefield, so mostly large, flat, decent for dwarves, but small enough that maybe Chaos can get in the thick of it before too much goes wrong for them. And I see a Hell Cannon! All right, we have one Hell Cannon, Chaos Warriors with great weapons, Chaos Warriors with great weapons, Chaos Marauders, and Warriors, Chaos Marauders. Did he dump both of his Chosen? Chaos Warriors, Chosen. Ah, there's one Chosen with great weapons. All right, so we are not entirely blue balls on that one. 2 Chaos Feral Manticores and a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal on a Horsey. With the transmutation of Lead and Plague of Rust, we've come to know. And 2 Marauder Horsemen, no throwing axes, so they will struggle against Gyrocopters if there are any. Now for the forces of the Dwarves, we have Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, Hammers, Dwarf Warriors, Warriors. Alright, front line of Dwarf Warriors and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Some great weapons, some hammers mixed in. Triple hammer in the backfield, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so that's pretty elite. Dragonback Slayers and 4 Thunders? 4 Thunders. So a different build from Grombrindle than we're used to seeing. But still pretty good. Belgar Ironhammer just to be a cheap lord that stands there and doesn't die. Very good. Very good. We've seen a lot of hammers today. That's one thing that's interesting about this format is without Burning Head or Pendulums to just take things out, you actually get to see some hammers or some Chosen with great weapons. And I like it. I like it a lot. Ready, good luck, have fun's going down. So Grombrindle not using a lot of blasting charges. Not the Iron Breakers we've been used to seeing or the minor front lines that most Dwarf players will bring. Just the Ekron Miners and that's it. Otherwise it's a bump and grind. 4 Thunderers will be pretty good, but I think the Hammers might get pounded by this Hell Cannon on the front. And this is going to be weird to say, but the Dwarves are at a range disadvantage and must advance upon Chaos. I learn something new every day. Players just setting up, trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, as are we all. These Marauder Horsemen, I mean, they have throwing spears, but you think they'd be better in melee combat, because they could just lower these spears, you know? Get a nice cavalry charge. Eh. Whatever. So Chaos will probably start to advance, and then when they realize they have the range advantage, might pull back, would be my guess, that we're going to do a little bit of a do-si-do here. Do-si-do. I have 6 Discord messages. What is happening? Okay. I'll deal with it later. Okay. Good. I was worried something was terribly wrong. It is not. So the dwarves are advancing as we knew they would. Chaos are pushing out at first, but I suspect they will stop, especially the Chosen with great weapons, as you don't want to get into range of those Thunderers when none of your infantry is shielded. Well, okay, 1 Chaos Marauder is shielded, but that's kind of a big who cares. So they don't want to close ranks with these Thunderers anytime soon, they just want to buy time. Without Final Transmutation or like Searing Doom or anything like that, it's going to be hard for Chaos to really clear out that back line. I guess the Manticores are going to have to do a lot of the work, but Manticores can be put in a little bit of danger as they charge 1 Thunderer and do good work, but the other Thunderers just turn and shoot them to death. Then they'll rampage, can't pull them out, and then they'll die. Pew pew. But we will see. It looks like Chaos has decided to take the frontline engagement, trying to use the Dwarves as shield against the Dwarves, and that is a great charge onto those Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. That is an excellent start for Chaos. In the middle here, Chaos Warriors with great weapons getting pounded down by Ekron's Miners, poor things. Chaos Warriors with great weapons over here on the flank, and Chaos Marauders really need to start pulling in and pressuring, because running out in the middle of nowhere, they are slow, heavy armored infantry, and they will take a while to get there. Manticores are trying to get involved, but as we mentioned, they are indeed getting shot. This one just trying to break off these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass so that the rest of the troops can push forward. In the chat, it's fine. Good to have you in the stream, buddy. We were just joined by a fellow who had something to tell me, and I didn't have the time to properly engage him. Dwarf Warriors in the front getting massacred, especially with the Plague of Rust going on, and Belgar Ironhammer is trying to help them out, but that's not going great for him. This Manticore is rampaging, but at half health and far enough away from the Hammerer squad, it might be okay. Never mind, it's not okay. It's charging straight into its death. There are Dragonback Slayers there to protect Thunders if they need to. These Hammers are working on that Manticore, and it's toast. Well, it's lightly warm bread. It's not toast yet. It'll probably be okay-ish. Chaos Marauders with great weapons running in. They might trade effectively with these hammers against their armor, and they're just a cheap unit. So they'll lose, but they might do some damage on the way in. These Chaos Warriors with great weapons are pushing in. They'll try to get on those Thunders as more are here. So Chaos is getting through the front line pretty well. All right, lads. And that Manticore is rallying. This one might rally eventually. And where's the Sorcerer Lord? Not that it matters too much. He could maybe chase some Dwarf Warriors around, but he is mostly just going to cast another Plague of Rust upgraded. And these Chaos Warriors, I mean, now they break, but they held for quite a long time against these Hammers. And these other Chaos Warriors with great weapons are just trying to run past the Hammers, try to get onto these Thunders, and save some of the Manticores. Hell Cannon in the back is still firing completely uncontested, having the best time of its life, but it's a little stuck. It's trying to figure out whether to shoot at the Thunders or the Hammers, certainly two units that do need to be shot. It has decided to shoot at the Hammers, maybe a little too late for its Chaos Marauder pals who got shot in the back by these Thunders. And the balance of power is pulling into the favor of Chaos as Chaos pushes in from all sides, but I think the Dwarves still have some teeth there. I do believe this is a close game. Thunders are teeing off perfectly into the Marauder Horsemen. They don't give a single shit about what's going on. These Chaos Marauders will suck pretty bad, even against Quarrelers. I mean, 80 armor is 80 armor, and when you're getting slapped in the back with hammers, you will not last that long. Dragonback Slayer is trying to zone off this Manticore, trying to stay right underneath it, so if it ever dies down, it will get slowed and chopped to death. Over here, Hammer is fighting to the best ability against Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and I think this is closer than the balance power gives it credit for, in my opinion. Chaos Feral Manticore coming back. I think if it gets broken one more time, it'll shatter just like its buddy. And oh boy, it's about to get broken as these Dragonback Slayers seek their doom in the wrong place, because that Manticore is sick and dying. It will not kill you, my friends. And it breaks. Maybe gonna die on the ground. We will see. Both these Hammers pulling back behind... Sorry. Thunderers pulling back behind Hammers and Slayers. Certainly a good front line to get behind. Some broken Thunders might rally over there, but they're at such a low model count, I don't think it'll matter. These Hammers are having a fight to the death with Chaos Warriors and great weapons in the middle of nowhere, hoping that they win just for the sake of winning. I doubt they'll be involved in this fight before it is over. Thunder is teeing off into something. I think they're just firing into the skirmish cav while they can, as they cannot see very well into the front line. Belagar here. Transmutation of Lead certainly messing with their melee attack, but their melee defense is just fine. Hammer is trading well against the Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Chaos Marauders with great weapons over here, having trouble. Oh yeah, there's Chosen! Okay, Chosen with great weapons piling in. That's probably why the balance of power is so heavily in the favor of Chaos. Yeah, that's going to be a tricky pickle, because these are some thick lads running up there. They don't give a single shit, chopping down some Slayers, having a good time. I think even Gotrek Gurnison would struggle against those elite lads. And the Dragonback Slayers are just getting put down by these Chosen. Oof. And these poor Thunderers firing off their last few volleys as the world collapses in around them. Some fireballs literally raining from the sky on these Thunderers who are just running. Shields up, boys! Shields up, push your way through! As some very confused Hammers try to get through their own men and assist Belagar. Over here we have some Dwarf Warriors trying to rally and protect these Thunderers. Honestly, an admirable performance from the Dowie. They ain't breaking for nothing, but they are running out of steam. Over here, these Hammers have beaten the Chosen with great weapons, but they're about to get bombed from the sky. A very nice hit and discouraging leadership aura might take them negative. Nope, they rally. They're taking down that Hell Cannon if it's the last thing they do, as it's manned by Chaos Dwarves. If we know anything about Dwarves, it's that they hate other Dwarves, especially Chaos Dwarves. Hammers breaking finally against the Chosen with the great weapons, and I want to see how well they do against Belagar. I want to see if they cut him down to size. Let's see, he has a debuffed melee attack. I think it's normally 50. Yeah, it's 50 and 60. They have 49, 47, and there are more of them, so that they're actually going to do great against him. And another upgraded Plague of Rust. Blood Penguin just loves casting that all the time whenever possible. Hell Cannon did manage to secure itself firing off those Hammers, but it does only have 2 shots left. Not that it'll matter too much at this point in the game, but still true. Chaos Marauders. Wow, the basic Chaos Marauders are still alive in this fight. Surprised to see it. Thunder is breaking, and it's pretty much just down to Belagar versus the Chosen with great weapons. Now he's trading up. He's trading very well. I am shocked at this. I actually thought he would lose very badly against the Chosen, but he's fighting well on his way out. But with Marauder Horsemen able to throw crap at him, some Chaos Marauders. Actually, if he can, I mean, he's getting army lost right now, but if he could have killed the Chosen, like if everything on this map was unbreakable, maybe Belagar could have just ground that out. Huh. Well, good performance from Blood Penguin, and we have a series on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to game 3. So Spellcar getting 400 value. Dwarf Warriors not paying for themselves, but standing perfectly still, enjoying a good front lining. Hammers, one hammer getting crumped on, but the other two paying for themselves decently well. Slayer's doing fine. Thunder's doing well, considering these two didn't pay for themselves, but these two overpaid for themselves. They were fine. For Blood Penguin, the Lord just provide buffs and debuffs, so we're not going to count that value. Chaos Marauders with great weapons paid up. Ooh, the Chosen got a ton of value. Very nice from them. Chaos Warriors with great weapons, very nice as well. Manticores got kind of shut down quickly, but they served their purpose as disruption, and the Hell Cannon also did great work. Perfect. GG, well played. Last map will be... Oh, what's a good one? What's in the R's? River Amixon is good, but a little divisive, and I don't want to pick it in Game 3 in case one of the players hates it, as a lot of people do. Oh, let's do one of the Karaks. All the Karaks are good. Karak, Boofdar. Good map. And the Chosen are OP. Thank you, whatever your name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. I can speak and read English and German, not insert language here. But it's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Also, you Kark? Is that Kark just waiting at the end there? Possibly. So, I need to update the score. We are going into Game 3. No matter what happens, this is for all the marbles. Blood Pen is up 1. You'd love to see it. Lovely. I feel like I was going to say something, but I'm forgetting what it was. What was it? Oh, well. It's gone. It's gone. I don't care. It's fine. Oh, I remember. I remember. All right. So for our first Chaos versus Order, I don't have the picture anymore. In our first Chaos versus Order, it's kind of funny because Blood Penguin and Chad Thorgrim were actually on opposite teams. Chad Thorgrim was representing Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and Blood Penguin... No, wait, they were on the same team. I'm being an idiot. And Blood Penguin was Lewin Lancourse. These two were old friends, order buddies, fighting against the tides of chaos, and unfortunately getting defeated. And Chaos advanced to the next 5v5 that I showed a little earlier in the stream. But while we're waiting for army picks, I could pull it up again. Add source. Media. Not there. Where are you? Chaos versus Order 2. Boom. Open. So another event coming up is our faction face-off. We take, in case you already heard this, I'm really sorry, but in case you didn't, faction face-off, I take one thematic army of, the first one was Chaos versus Order, so it was Beastmen, Norska, and Warriors of Chaos versus Empire, Dwarves, and Bretonnia. Got some people together, asked them what legendary lords they wanted to play, asked them really nicely not to play Fey Enchantress or like Sigvald the Magnificent, the really boring dumb lords. Yeah, sorry. Seeing if the players had a question in the game. So, asked them not to take any of the dumb lords, and then we match them up with thematic things, like Boris Todbringer fought Kazric One-Eye, for example. I believe Archaon the Everchosen fought Volkmar the Grim, as they did in lore. Had some fun with that, and then it was a elimination style. So, you go through all the games, and let's say 3 players, 1 on one side, 2-1 on the other side. It's not over there. We don't just call it 3-2, it's done. You start back over with the 3 who are left facing the 2 who are left, and it's like, you know, you have 2 1v1s, and then whoever wins those goes on. So it's just both sides fight it out until only one person or one team remains, and then they advance. So the second one is sticking with the lore. If Chaos defeated men, Bretonnia, and Dwarves, it, you know, bears to say that as they push through the map of the world, they would get to Ulthuan, they would get to Athel Loren, they would get to Lustria a little bit. So now the Lizardmen, High Elves, and Wood Elves have banded together to try to stop them. So we got some members from the community who wanted to play various lords. We've got Teclis, Tic-Tac-Toe, Durthu, and again, I asked them not to play the boring lords. I said, please no Alariel the Radiant or other boring things we see all day, every day. So that's coming up soon, and as soon as I get all the replays from those players, I will cast that. It's a very fun event. I think the first one was the most viewed event on our channel, and if anybody wants to participate in that, just join the Discord in the description of this video. Go down to Faction Face-Off, put your favorite faction that you want to play in there, and when I need that faction, I scroll through the list of people, find, first come, first serve. If I need Lizardman players, I find the first 2 Lizardman players, say, you and you, do you want to play? They usually say yes, and we're off to the races. So, community involvement, very fun, very silly. Okay, so it looks like we have some changes here. Blood Penguin picking Counts, High Elves, and Bretonnia, banning Lizardmen. Chad Thorgrim picking Skaven and banning Vampire Counts, and Blood Penguin picks Bretonnia. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed, because with Skaven, I love to see Bretonnia. I think it is a terrible matchup for the Bretonians. So it's interesting that Blood Penguin is picked into it like that, but maybe he knows something I don't. I know, as I mentioned before, he was my Luin Lane Kura player because he is a good Bretonian main. So, probably sticking with Comfort. Pick High Elves, painting. Because, yeah, I don't know. I think he should have gone with High Elves personally. High Elves is good into Skaven. What's interesting about Chad Thorgrim and or Grombrindle, for being a dwarf main, he picked, in this best of 3 at least, he has picked the Carrick Peaks 3. He picked Greenskins, Dwarves, and Skaven. And I was trying to think, he picked Grom the Paunch, not Skarsnik, but wouldn't it be, it'd be kind of funny if he went Skarsnik, Belagar, and then Queek in this game, but I don't know if he's going to meme that hard. Getting a quick message. Answering that quickly. Hopefully it wasn't too prevalent on the stream, as I believe Steam would pop up with my screen sharing technology. So, just looking at a question now that I have some time. It's a question about the speedrun tournament. For the funds to beat the AI challenge, have you considered adding the time and funds to get an overall score? This way people will have to cut their build as much as possible and still have enough to win quickly. No Volkmar charging us full kite. For instance, you could set every second to 10 gold. If you're still in the chat, is it Chian or Tian is the first part of your name? That is an interesting idea. That is. I would have to do a lot of math on my end, but I mean, that's the life of organizing things, is you're going to have to, organize them. But for anybody who was wondering what he was asking about, the speedrun challenge I currently have on my channel that I mentioned before, and I'm not going to go through that again. There's a second part to it that I couldn't quite get to work before I launched it, and that was, sure, you can beat this army that I posted as fast as possible, but I was also trying to figure out how to do one where it's like, if you can beat the army with as little funds as possible. But it was very quickly pointed out to me, and in testing was true, that led to a terrible viewer experience, because it's just like, all right, guys, who wants to see like 40 minutes of Anticity kiting around a whole army with 3 archers and Volkmar the Grim, and Volkmar is going to just cycle charge and cast Soulfire Bombardment. Woo! Fan engagement! Yeah! So no, that was just terrible. So it looks like Xian was trying to help, because I like the idea of not just faster but also more efficiently beating this army, but we'll see. Yeah. And I see you're still in the chat, so you can hear that I like your idea. I will have to figure out how to do that. Well, because I mean, actually, the easiest way to do it would be you send me the replay and then send me a screenshot of the army you took, and I could just do the math much easier there. Could be true. I have a screen blocker up, right? Yep, good. Because I've just been staring at this Bretonnian army this whole time, and if I forgot the screen blocker, that would be a little awkward. Looking from here, there's plenty of infantry. As long as one thing's true, this Bretonnian army's legal. We'll see. We will have to see in-game because it is weird. The prices are a little weird on the heroes and lords, but obviously archers don't count towards your melee infantry. So one of the heroes or lords needs to be on foot for this to be legal. But I'm sure Blood Penguin, after fighting, what is this, his third best of 3 in this series? He's probably got it figured out by now. Probably. At least I'd hope so. All right, screen blocker, you're coming down. Ciao. Loading on to Carrick Bufdar. I almost thought this was Oakenhammer for a moment, but the forest is in the wrong position. That would have been awkward. Between Shad Thorgrim, Blood Penguin, 1-1, going to last game, and then we'll have a best of 5. And then I'll probably head to bed, because it's 10 p.m. here, and after that it'll probably be 11:30 or something. I don't know. Time for the seconds prediction, the most interesting game. I'm going to go with, last time I went with 253 and I was too slow. I'm going to go with 248. Let's see if I got this. 250, 249, 248. Damn it. I can't guess that timer. There's no way it's going below 230 though. 239, 30. Ah, it's in the 230s. All right, let's see what we got. So I was talking to you guys, I wasn't really paying attention to the Bretonnian army, so even I don't know what we're looking at. Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm. Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis, the Knights Errant, Knights Errant, Knights of the Realm. So 3 Knights of the Realm, 2 Knights Errant, 1 is the ROR, good choice. 5 Peasant Mobs. I thought I saw 2 Battle Pilgrims. Are there 3? Do we have 3 Battle Pilgrims? Can I see 4? Nope, not 4. So Men-at-Arms. So the only thing we needed for this to be legal was the Damsel on foot, which she is on foot. Paladin and Lewin. Sorry, I should have focused on that. King Lewin is flying. He's a good source of terror, really good against Skaven. He can outduel almost any Skaven lord. And I say almost, I think I mean any. We have some peasant mobs with fire arrows and pox arrows, it look like. Pox, fire. So fire arrows are good against brood horror mounts or hell pit abominations, as the regen actually hurts them when it comes to fire damage. For the Skaven, we have poison wind mortars. 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Just 1. Good. 2 is probably too many, honestly. It could zap to shoot at what was probably expected to be the Fey Enchantress, though I suppose without healing spells, I doubt the Fey Enchantress would be brought here, so maybe he expected Lewin. Pit Fighters of Helms, Deep, very good. Immune to Psychology, Frenzy Rat Ogres, Regular Rat Ogres, Clan Rats of Shields, Skaven Slaves? No. Clan Rats of Shields in the back, Skaven Slaves up front. Very nice, very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, perfect. Plenty of Skaven infantry. And the Council Guard, Unbreakable, Storm Vermin with Halberds, Guardian. Very nice. Plague Priest on foot. Yep, couldn't be on the bell because of the Pestilent Breath problem, but he has Pestilent Breath and Vermintide, 2 nice summons. Throt the Unclean on his Brood Horror for some healing, anti-large, terror causing. Now, I personally hate Throt. I think he's a terrible lord. He is only useful in 1 matchup, and even then he is begrudgingly useful, not my favorite pick. But we'll see how he does here. If he gets trapped in with Knights of the Realm, he is going to die very, very quickly. Now, the Skaven build is interesting to me. I mean, Chad Thorgrim is obviously a great player. So I question his builds more as a scholarly point than an actual doubt of whether or not it's going to work. But I personally like to take 1 Poison Wind Mortar, 2 Poison Wind Globes, crap ton of Clan Rats with Spears or Skaven Slaves with Spears, some Rat Ogres, and I believe I take Deathmaster Snikch and an Assassin and a Plague Priest to deal with the Fey Enchantress, but the main idea is you just let the Bretonnians charge you, you hit them with your Poison Wind, they die, you prosper, it's great. But this, I don't know, the Jezzails, they're going to get compromised very quickly, and that's kind of the problem I have with them. They need to shoot and shoot and shoot, whereas Poison Wind Globes cost less, and they can throw at a shorter range and do great damage. But that's just my opinion on it. Maybe he has something else in store for us. So it could zap, probably going to shoot at the Paladin, maybe shoot at Lewin and get some free hits, but if he has his Lion's Shield, he'll be double resistant to it because he's got missile resist and magic resist, and I believe it does magic damage. It does. So shooting at Lewin might be a bit of a mistake because if he doesn't dodge, he's just going to block it anyway. First shot's going off the Paladin, but they missed slightly, a little unfortunate for the Skaven player, and now shooting up at Lewin, but hitting the rocks. So first 2 volleys are a little unfortunate for Chad Thorgrim, but if he was counting on the first 2 volleys to win this game, then that's an interesting strategy anyway, so I think he'll be fine. Warlock Gisele's trying to shoot at this Paladin, but the Paladin's juking quite well. Lewin's doing his best to juke, and he has regen, if he took the right item. Yep, he has regen. So he'll be okay with this little bit of poke as long as he doesn't take too much more. Knights are advancing up through the trees. Normally Knights don't like to chill in the trees, but it's better than getting shot. So they will do what they must. This force has to be getting in within range of the Poison Wind Mortars soon, so I expect to see them rip out, because Peasant Mobs, not the best target, but they are a target, and you do need to eventually get rid of them anyway, and it's very rare that Poison Wind Mortars run out of ammo, so you might as well blow it while you can. The Beastcaster is going to summon a Manticore. Skaven hate to see it. The Manticores are very good against them no matter what they do. Players are saying ready, good luck, have fun. No issues there. So the Knights are getting behind the lines, and if I were Blood Penguin, which I'm not, and he's a better Bretonnian player than me, I would spread out. If you see these Brad Ogres, you really don't want to charge in the same area of the map. You want to pull them in 5 different directions. So it's like if he has 2 Rat Ogres, maybe you can block here and block here, but you can come in here, here, and here uncontested. Now, as I say that, he does get a nice Knights of the Realm charge on some Clan Rats, does about 1/3 of their health, and forces out a summon. That's very nice. Manticore charges in and gets immediately worked on by Throt the Unclean, but he does stop the Poison Wind from casting for a little bit, distracts Throt from stopping up these Knights, because if Throt had run up and cast his Rat Ogres behind them, maybe he could have gotten a good catch. Now these Knights are chilling on the back. These ones charge in and pull out as soon as the Rat Ogres engage, and the Fleur-de-Lis Knights will get in over here, but they also need to be pulled out as the Rat Ogres are pulled alongside. These Knights Errant need to split up, and you can see Blood Penguins doing that now. You need to come in through both the gaps at the same time. Really abuse the fact that there aren't as many Rat Ogres as there are Cav. This Paladin's getting worked on by the Rat Ogres. Unfortunately for him, Throt probably cast Creature Kill, and Throt is doing great work on Lewin. Lewin and the Paladin cannot afford to be alone in these dueling type situations. That is the one place where Throt is actually good. So King Lewin is having a real hard time. He's casting Lion Shield and Stand Your Ground, just trying not to break to get out of there, because his regen will cancel for the rest of the game if he breaks once. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but it is true. These Knights Errant are getting surrounded on all sides and cut down. They were just trying to stop Ikit's Zap Zap. But this flank is going well for the Bretonnians, at least. They're winning one side of the battle, heavily invested in the other side, just trying to get through. Plague Monk Summon on the front is going to be disintegrating soon, but it did win the fight momentarily. Ikit Zap Zap and the Poison Wind Mortars are shut down quite effectively at this point. I don't think we'll get too many volleys off this game, and if Lewin can rally and just heal back up, he'll be fine. He still has a Paladin with him. Second Manticore Summon coming in. Now this one has to be a little bit more effective than the first. They do have to get some real value out of it. I think going after Throt would be a mistake. Just get on top of these Poison Wind Globes, break them off, try to dominate the backfield, maybe pull the Knights out if they still exist. Yeah, some Knights are rallying over here. Maybe take them here and just make sure everything that routes stays routing. Make sure it gets out of here. Giselles are also broken off, and if they can keep this domination of the ranged assets going, then the skies will be theirs, and they should be fine. Lewin trying to get a rear charge, get some terror routes in this area, a melee defense debuff coming down, very good. And the Paladin is dominating the backfield like we wanted, but we really need to see some of the Knights Errant get back there. These Knights Errant desperately trying to avoid these Clan Rat spears, the chaff that they do not want to be fighting. And Peasant Mobs and Battle Pilgrims just running through the woods, but they need to give up on chasing these Rat Ogres. They can't catch them. It's fine. Let the one archer get shut down. It's gotten its value anyway. Men-at-Arms over here. I believe there was a third archer, a Pox Arrow. Maybe it got Poison Winded down. But yeah, you can see here what I was talking about. You really want to dominate this backfield. You need to keep all these units running, all these units moving. Keep them going. This Manticore running in here, breaking some more things, and the Bretonnians are... Oh, and Throt the Unclean just got murdered by something. I imagine he was surrounded by Knights of the Realm. Yep. As we said at the start of the game, he has to avoid those Knights of the Realm, because even those basic Knights can just beat the absolute shit out of him. Poor guy. Blood Penguin doing very nice in the backfield here to get these Knights Errant on top of the routing units. Don't let them rally. Throt did manage to rally, but he's desperately trying to get away from these Knights Errant. Oh, he's juking the bullets that aren't there. Now he's getting attacked on back by a Paladin, but there are Clan Rats to support him. Maybe he will hold on. But he did get sniped in the back a little bit. Oh, he's hanging in there, but more Knights. Everywhere he goes, there are Knights. Throt has nowhere to run to. He tries to get back in just to get a little bit of damage onto Lewin, but it is not enough, and he is going to break. And here, it looks like we're just getting down to the Council Guard, who are getting attacked by valiant Peasant Mobs and some Battle Pilgrims that'll do good work. And soon these Bowman can turn and start shooting on the Council Guard, doing good work on them. In the backfield, Plague Priest got routed at one point in the Knights Errant, and just at first it was slipping a little bit, but Blood Penguin really rallied in the late game and took over the backfield like he should have, and just made sure everything that routes is effectively dead. And that is great play from him. Great play from Grombrindle as well. An excellent start. Really did a ton of damage to Lewin, a ton of damage to the Plague Priest, but over time they just ground him down. And I'm curious to see how the Warplock Jezzails did. It didn't look like they were able to get too much firepower off, but a very good game played by both players. You love to see it. And the balance of power was a little premature on that one. I mean, look at all the Knights are super messed up. These archers are kind of okay, but there's some Battle Pilgrims, so Bretonnia really came down to its last legs. It was a good game played by both players, and I liked it a lot. Just waiting on the Council Guard to die. Grinding them down. Grinding them down. Yeah, my thoughts on Throt, why I thought he was kind of dumb is, I mean, yeah, he can kind of sometimes duel, and sometimes is the keyword. He can sometimes duel a large target if he has his Rat Ogre Summon and if he has his buff. But if he doesn't have both those things, he kind of sucks. He just seems to lose the duel even against large monsters, which is exactly what he's supposed to be fighting. And I believe on his Brood Horror, when he's on his Brood Horror, he loses his bonus versus large. Which is a little dumb in my opinion. So he's like Franz, where Franz needs to go in with just his buffs. But Franz is actually useful. And Franz can actually decimate things in a duel, where Throt can just kind of win them. 1,700 value on him, didn't pay for himself, unfortunately, but like, as much as I shit on him, he did do well this game. I just don't think he does well in a lot of games. Clan Rats with Spears paying for themselves quite well, otherwise the Chaff dying as Chaff does. Council Guard almost paying for themselves. Jezzails and Poison Wind Mortars having a little bit of trouble. Rat Ogres and the Ikit Zap Zap really bringing back the value train, though. Lewin not paying for himself, not even doing that much damage, but his AoE debuffs and leadership was very good. Terror causing was also quite effective. Manticore summons were fine. First one got crumped a little bit. Second one did great. But Battle Pilgrims did a lot of work. Ooh, especially that one. Peasant Archers did a lot of work. Never underestimate the Peasant Archers. And the Knights paid for themselves / chased stuff off. So it was a very spread value from the Bretonians, while Skaven had 2 Rat Ogres and Ikit Zap Zap trying to carry their whole team. But very well played. Oh, hey, Kark's here. All right. All right, just sending off a quick message. And Grombrindle is going to bed. Well deserved. Well deserved from him. He's been playing for a while. And in Eastern Europe, it's got to be at least 3, 4 in the morning. But I love that guy. Grombrindle is funny. And every time I've involved him in an event, it's always really good. Okay. Best of 5. Whoops. Best of 5. I'll let first Sand Desert first. We'll do Iron Sand Desert first. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, letting Blood Penguin know he picks first. I have to update the little scorecards. Bobman, Houseplant. I don't know why it's still called Bobman and Houseplant after all this time. They haven't played for a long time, but my streaming software apparently saved them forever. Blood Penguin versus Kark. 0-0, start of a best of 5. Should be a fun one. Let's go Empire, ban Dowie and Greenskin. So Blood Penguin, again, starting with the Empire, even after it didn't work out super well for him in the first one. Tricky, tricky. I need a screen blocker. Before he picks anything, boom. Got it. Back to the glow stick, Demon of Doom. And I love that If anybody notices that Skaven with the storm vermin that's doing the feels good pose, I had that commissioned for me. I have 11 other commissions coming in to help me make thumbnails, but also just to post fun things. I'm making them emotes in my Discords and such. But we have some funny things coming up, in my opinion, or at least I think they're funny. I have a poison wind globadier T-posing just so that if I ever post replays with like Skaven getting a ton of value, I can just T-pose on people. And that'll be pretty fun, but I am a dirty memer, so Because making thumbnails when you don't have like your own commissioned content can be tough. Because I don't believe I've used fan art in anything. I try to always use official stuff. Like I went to the Warhammer wiki, and if the Warhammer wiki is using this picture of a demon, I think it's legit. But if an artist ever contacts me and is like, "You stole my thing," that sucks, and I don't know. I hate to do that because I've worked with a lot of artists with all the board game stuff I mentioned earlier in the stream, and it's like, they work hard, they do good stuff, and it sucks that if you put your work on the internet to advertise what a good artist you are, people can also steal that and not hire you as an artist. So it's tricky. So I think everything I've stolen, everything I took was either from official Total War Warhammer 2 like trailers or Total War Warhammer 2 media content, or like I said here, the wiki, which I would hope that they properly source their stuff. But that's why I'm commissioning some things for myself so that I don't have to worry about stealing anything. Yay! Because stealing's bad. Don't do that. It sucks. I know I would hate it if somebody like sniped one of my videos or something. I gotta answer a question for Blood Penguin quick. Yep. Sorry, just answering a quick question for Blood Penguin. Just answering a quick question. Yep, Volkmar on his wagon is banned because the banishment that comes with it is not allowed as it's a regular damage spell. But you can't take it off. And I know the easy solution is just, well, you can come on the wagon and just not use it, but it's like, If a rule break is possible, I would prefer to avoid it rather than let everybody take everything and just be like, well, just don't use it. And I'll watch everything all the time and perfectly observe whether a rule break is happening or not. And it's like, no, just get rid of it. Like if Wood Elves have Zotes that bring Earthblood, how the frick am I supposed to watch the entire battle and see a little circle appear for maybe a second and heal up some units? It's just not worth it. So take it out. Besides, this is mostly a for fun tournament. I mean, I want players to try hard, but I want them to try hard with different and more fun units. And we see Volkmar on his wagon all the time, so it's not a huge loss. I mean, we see him every other day, so says the rat. But yeah, I think maybe my favorite part of streaming, honestly, has been making the thumbnails. I have a ton of fun with those. Like I had one, it wasn't a very highly viewed video, but I did like my the biggest, the baddest, and it was my game against Lord Baltimore on Nativity Ladder, where I took Kolek Suneater into his greenskins and he took the friggin' biggin. So then I edited the movie poster for Kong versus Godzilla and just threw their heads on top of each other. And I love that thumbnail. It makes me laugh every time. But then, like, not a lot of people went to see that video, which is fine. I mean, it's a run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road video. It's okay. Not my best work, but put it out there. Hope it made some people chuckle. But it was fun to watch Kolek duel the biggin. And I won't spoil who wins, but it's very entertaining. It comes down to the wire. I'll tell you that much. That is a close game. Yeah. At one point, it's just everything else on the map is routing except for 2 unit models. Like not even 2 you know, units like, oh, these night goblins and they have like 50 night goblins. No, like literally the balance of power was 1 versus 1. And that was pretty hype. That was pretty hype. This is game 1. Game 1 of the finals, best of 5, Blood Penguin versus Kark. All the money, meaning none of the money, is on the line because I didn't put up a prize pool for this because I didn't think it. At the time, a lot of my tournaments I host them a week in advance, and my channel, my Discord at least, really started popping off recently because Logic's been supporting it, and the speed run's been really popular and all these things. So initially, a lot of my tournaments had like 5 or 6 people in them, and they frequently got canceled due to not enough people playing. And then this one all of a sudden got up to 15, and then 10 or 12 actually checked in. So it's like, oh, well, crap. A little late to add a prize pool now, but yeah, there's a good number of people here. So next time I'll try to up my game, give them something to actually fight for. And we're ready. Empire versus Bretonnia. So normally this matchup's a cav fight, a Demigriff Blob with Volkmar and a Warrior Priest buffing them up, and a Life Caster versus another cav Blob of Questing Knights and the Fey Enchantress. But without healing and with infantry requirements, I strongly doubt we'll see either of those strategies. So now I have no idea what's going to happen. I did see the Empire build, but again, I was talking to you guys and not paying attention, so I kind of forgot. I remember I saw some cannons and a huntsman. That's all I remember. Okay, we have 2 cannons, a bunch of spearmen and swordsmen, some halberdiers on the flanks, on both flanks. Yep, 4 halberdiers in total. Otherwise, spearmen and swordsmen filling up the front line, silver bullets and handgunners on powder duty. 2 huntsmen, a lot of range in this build actually. Volkmar the Grim on his horse, I believe Turin calls him Deathhoof. We shall call him Charlie. Charlie, the very good boy. And Charlie is a Clydesdale. Good lord, he's big. He's big. I'm surprised that CA paid that much attention to like models that they actually have different kinds of horses, because I don't think this guy has a Clydesdale. Oh, he does. Are all the Empire mounts Clydesdales? I don't know. He's a light wizard, probably with net and... Ooh, Foz Protection. You don't see Foz Protection very much, maybe on Tomb Kings, but never on Empire. But I suppose he can't take like Shem's Burning Gaze or anything. Yeah, melee defense and armor. Very nice. So, this is a lot of range to defend. I'm a little concerned that Blood Penguin can't defend all of this. But we will see. On the Kark side, does he even have enough rushing tools? I guess that is important. Men-at-arms, peasants across the front line, and men-at-arms on the other side, some battle pilgrims down the center. That definitely fills the requirement of infantry. 4 mounted yeomen. Ooh, mounted yeomen. I like them. They are good. They're not the best skirmish cav in the world, but people don't expect Bretonnia to have any skirmish cav, so some is better than none. Grail Knights, Knights Errant, Grail Knights. Very ballsy. Very ballsy to take Grail Knights when you can't have healing for them. That is quite interesting. What is that? Hold on. Curse of the Midnight Wind and Harmonic Emergent. All right, I was really worried for a second. That was Common of Cassandora, and that would be bad. But we have Harmonic Convergence, which gives melee attack and melee defense, and Curse of the Midnight Wind, which lowers the enemy melee attack and melee, not defense, but whatever, weapon damage. So a good buff debuff combo could win any cav fight if there is a cav fight, but I don't think. I'll think about that in a second. King Lewin showing up without the Sword of Khorne. Very interesting. Sword of Khorne is maybe his best ability, but I think I only saw the Lion Shield there. Or did he just cut the Lion Shield and keep Sword of Khorne? Hold on. Oh, he kept Sword of Khorne, sorry. It's a shield emblem down there, so I assumed that was the shield. But no, he has Sword of Khorne. Good. So, that is a lot of debuff and buffs, because he has Stand Your Ground, which gives melee defense, and leadership, obviously. But let's just focus on the melee defense. He has the Sword of Khorne, which will lower his attacking stats. I think it's armor and melee defense. Armor and melee defense. And then he has buffs for his own melee attack and melee defense, and debuffs for melee attack and melee defense. That is a lot of melee blank and melee blank to say. So, I think Kark is ready to dominate the cav fight. The problem is the Empire has literally no cav for him to dominate. Gonna be tricky. Though, that will give his battle pilgrims and his knights a lot of staying power on the front line, at least. They maybe should punch through that. Even the halberdiers, with their 42 melee defense, if they get lowered and then the cav gets raised melee attack, even the halberdiers might not be able to stand up to this much force. I think the Grail Knights are going to have a hard time finding value, but we'll see. Maybe if they get on top of Volkmar, they'll do well. No need to wait for me. GLHF. Just in case they, just in case Bloodping is waiting on me. Can't tell. Can't tell. Okay. So, we're off. We're off. I was looking for a message just to make sure that there were no further questions. The cannons are positioned. All right, good. That's not white line camping, but the Empire force was a little close to the white line on a glance, but they're fine. 2 great cannons, and they have to get past these sand dunes. That's the biggest problem about having artillery on this map, is you need to get above these sand dunes, otherwise half the map is cut off from your line of sight, and it's quite difficult to get your shots in. So the cannons are firing off. They're already doing good work on the Damsel of Heavens, and she is trying to juke in the back, but not doing a great job of it. Now, again, she doesn't need her health because she's not a melee combatant, so as long as she doesn't break or die, she doesn't care about taking some damage at the start. But a good start for the Empire. Nice spread out formation. Plenty of room for them to maneuver, but the only problem is they might be too spread out if the cav can get into their line, as they have no cav of their own to countercharge. So everything will need to waddle into position, which will be tough. Knights Errant taking the cannon fire, definitely the ideal target for Bretonnia, as their Grail Knights are safely kept quite far away from the cannons, not giving them a lot to shoot at. And Lewin's ready to dodge if needed. Peasants are charging straight into swordsmen and dying. Oof. Big oof from the peasants, doing their best to serve the lady, but just getting chopped to bits as they use their rakes on proper swordsmen. King Lewin Leoncoeur coming to admirably try to help his peasants, a very un-Bretonian thing to do, but I think he's going to get netted here. Oof. Netted in front of, what is it, a huntsman, and I think these handgunners are in range. And he doesn't have the lion's shield, so he can't pop that, and he is taking massive damage. I think even the cannons are turning onto him. Yeah, well, one of them is. So very nicely played by Blood Penguin at the start. Certainly holding up well against this Bretonian force. Bretonnia trying to skirmish. I think the Mounted Yeomen were Pistoliers or Outrider Kite. I do believe, now that I'm thinking of that, they are quite good into that scenario, but since there's no such thing here, they are having a little bit of trouble getting their value, and King Lewin has taken just a crap ton of damage on his way out. He is going to need to walk away and rely on the blessing of the lady to carry him. Grail Knights coming in here, charging against Volkmar the Grim, the exact person they want to be fighting, but they've just taken so much work on the offensive. And I'm also noticing, because I'm a bad person and I didn't pay attention at the start, there are no peasant bowmen, no pox arrows, nothing to help out these Grail Knights. So everything, Kark bet it all on a good charge and skirmish core. And unfortunately, the Empire was very ready with that, with the broad, cheap front line, and then a lot of nice, strong heavy hitters in the middle of the formation. So this is looking like it's going to be a quick victory for the Empire. Now, it's not over yet, but it is looking bad. So Kark would have to play extremely well to turn this around. Mounted Yeoman Archers trying to get in there and disrupt the cannons, and they're doing a decent job, but they are losing their lives in the pursuit. One Huntsman unit has been shut down, and this entire flank has collapsed for the Empire, but the Empire has gotten a lot of value elsewhere. Now, the Battle Pilgrims getting involved in combat will help a lot. They can actually win their fights, which is a new thing for Bretonnian infantry, except for the Sigmar's sons are going to whoop some serious ass over there. And Lewin's diving in on these huntsmen, trying to lock them down, but maybe another Netga is going to come for him soon if that light wizard can cast it. But it doesn't look like he'll get it in time as Lewin pulls away. Volkmar is trying to clear these Grail Knights off of the light wizard, and they are just not getting a ton of value. And though these guys got 83 kills somewhere, so I guess they got 900 value, probably charged straight through the front line, and did a lot of work there. I doubt the other Grail Knights can say the same. Mounted Yeomen still trying to get in here, still trying to upset these cannons. They have routed off this one and the Huntsman over here, and I'm sure Kark will be able to harass them, keep them off of their guns for the rest of the game, but that rest of the game is coming in quick. With Volkmar still at full health, Light Wizard at half health, guns teeing off into these Battle Pilgrims to help out their lord. It's looking bleak for the Bretonnians. They don't have a ton of stopping power left on the battlefield. These Battle Pilgrims are chasing after Sigmar's sons, but even if they could catch them, I don't know if they want to at this point. Sigmar's sons will be very dangerous. Volkmar the Grim, Grand Shield of Faith with his halberdiers also slicing into these Battle Pilgrims, and they used to have guns supporting them in the back, but it looks like there's a bit of kerfuffle here, keeping everybody a little distracted. Handgunners and halberdiers holding hands, just trying to figure out what to do with their day. Balance power is getting dangerously low for the Bretonnians. It might go into army losses soon as men-at-arms fight some spearmen, but most of the heavy hitters are dead. If those are Grail Knights, they're extremely wounded. Yeah, 14 models with 500 health between them. That is bleak. And army losses is starting to kick in a very nice first game from Blood Penguin and Kark. I think Kark expected a very different build to be coming his way and was sorely disappointed as soon as we hit start game. That being said, played as well as he could with the tools he was given. Let's check values real quick. Lewin got, 73. Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it, but he did get shot by a bunch of huntsmen and cannons after being netted, so that is tricky. Peasant mobs did peasant mob things. Bow Pilgrims tried desperately to pay for themselves, but Empire Frontline do not have a lot of value to give. These Grail Knights got 900, these Grail Knights got 30, a little bit of a disparity there. You can kind of tell which one got shot on the approach. For Blood Penguin, Volkmar was just a nice anchor piece for the army. He actually didn't carry as we normally see him carry. It looks like the Halberdiers didn't get terribly much value either, so I'm guessing we're going to see some big numbers coming in here. 1600, 1400, 500, and 1600. Yep, the ranged of the Empire, the fire in, well, I should say the gunpowder and the gunpowder faith and steel coming in clutch. GG. Next map, huh? Let's do... Okay, I'm just making sure Kark's okay with the map, considering what, Yep, okay, he's fine going skating. Sweet, so we're gonna go to Central Chaos Wastes. Since this is technically the Khorne tournament, I should probably try to stick to Chaos-themed maps. And we will get the army blocker back up and change the score. Blood Penguin is up 1-0. But it's a best of 5. He still needs 2 more wins. Plenty of this left to go. It's 10:30 where I am. Probably also quite late around the world. A lot of the European viewers are definitely asleep at this point. My voice hurts. So I'm going to go get water, chat, take care of yourself for just a moment. Just a moment. Don't go crazy. All right? I'm watching you, name I can't read, or other name that is a little difficult for me and I don't want to butcher it. BRB. Whoop. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Blood Penguin going with High Elves against Skaven. Decent matchup for the High Elves, in my opinion. Oh, if I had my webcam set up right now, I could show you guys my cat. He is a sweetheart. His name's Ed. Okay, High Elves, High Elves, High Elves. With the Khorne format, they need 10 infantry, and unfortunately for High Elves, that is a very expensive proposition to sign up for. Gonna be tricky. But we'll see if they can do it. Skaven can super easily fulfill the requirement. Ooh, yeah. Saying that out loud, that's gonna be tough. Poison Wind's gonna be super valuable here from Kark, because he knows 10 infantry are coming in. The cheapest infantry you can bring is 500 gold, right? So